I'm sick of this. Sick of the what? I'm sick of the plumbing. We was born to be erasers, Mario. Not this. You was born to be a racer. That was a dream of two young boys. Do not be a fool. We are plumbers now. Mario, we have something I don't have. We have a family.
Hey Barnes, what do you think right now, dude?
So pumped. Renee's not going to know what's going to hit her, and she is going to be stoked.
At all. It's kind of, I guess not block as many shots as supposed. There's still something to work on, dude. And oh no, what do we have here?
Surprise
here. Look at Mike with the flowers.
Happy birthday to you. I hope that you get to do everything you want to do, because it's your special day and you go where you want to go. It's your day, your flow, what you want to do. Just go and say, hey, it's my birthday, hey, it's my birthday, hey. So you just say, hey, 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 it's my birthday. Happy birthday to you. I hope that you get to do everything you want to, because it's your special day. And I just want to say, hey, 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 happy birthday to you. We just want to say that we appreciate you and everything that you do. You're so cool. I just want you to know that we love you. It's your special day, and we just want to say, hey, 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 you're so great. So everything that you do, the way you tie your shoes, the way you do 2 + 2 is so cool. Happy birthday to you. It's the day that you were born. You say, hey, scream to the top of your lungs, of your lungs. Happy birthday to you. We just want to say happy birthday to you. We just want to say happy birthday to you. Oh, ooh, ooh. Oh, ooh, ooh, ooh. It's a special day. It's your happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you.
Happy birthday to you. Whoever you are, whoever you're hearing this, happy birthday to you. This is the day you were born.
Hamilton the Bay Porter. Long ball Porter. Come on, Nunez.
Yeah, okay. Yes, that's it. Yes.
Whoa. You call that pitching? Baseball. Not tennis. Give me the tennis racket. Give me something to hit.
All right, Em. This is my heater. I dare you to hit it.
You'll be sorry.
Want the heater? I'll give it to you.
That's how you do it, Mom.
Ham, idiot. Now we can't play no more.
Great. Idiot. It was heater. Stupid idiot. Blow it outside, just like I like it.
Guys, I figured it out. Quick! Look. The map to where we have to get to is a mountain. And in the ancient texts, they talk about this meditating as a group with ancient technology.
Let's do it.
But dude, meditating again?
Dude, Tony, it's in the ancient texts.
It's in the text.
It's in the text.
I would like to reach out my hand. Oh, Messiah. Oh, me tell you to run. Nobody say, nobody on. Well, pick me up with golden hand. Oh, Messiah. Oh, me tell you to run. Nobody say, nobody on. Well, I would like to hold my little hand. How we will run, how we will cry. I would like to hold my little hand. How we will run, how we will cry. Send me away, send me away, send me in the way.
What are you guys doing down there?
Nothing? Time travel problems.
It's in the ancient texts.
Let's go get Matt.
Salad, booty, ammo.
See him?
No, where is he?
Straight ahead, his hat. Grab Renee, I'll give you cover.
You good?
Yeah.
We try and flank him.
I got your back. Renee, go!
Ah. Ah. Dude, another one. Whoa! I go. Come on, Renee. Go, 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 go. Keep going, keep going. It's locked. You shooting? Hey,
Dude, are you okay?
woo! What a fucking battle it was.
Come on, let's go.
Good to have you back, brother.
The hat? I don't need my salad.
We'll get you your salad. For now, that thing's still chasing us. We gotta get out of here.
Scanner?
Yeah, let's do it. Let's get out of here.
Run, run!
Nobody see me, but well, I would like to hold my little hand. I would like to hold.
Hold the front door.
Oh shit.
And we're back.
Craig has entered the house. Craig, we were live.
Craig O has entered the house.
Hold on, man. We'll be back.
No.
I'm going to keep it going.
There's children actually.
We have Craig O in the building. We also have his beautiful kids here. Jacob.
Jacob, you want to sit on the couch for a minute? This is Sydney. Hey Perry, you haven't checked out this spot.
No, she hasn't.
Jacob sat here. You can sit there, right?
Yeah, we broke up the
Oh, got it. Got it, of course. I was gonna do a with the glass of who wore better, me or we should get a photo of each other. Yeah, 100%. Oh my god, yeah. That's why I stopped by. We'll grab a little lunch. We'll hang out for a little bit. Kids are. How are you? How are you?
Hell yeah.
Gonna sit here. Jacob, this is like part.
Oh, this has been good as a YouTube stream. I should have just streamed on YouTube. Me and Tom did that when we were in New York. On the last day, we were just in Starbucks and we just streamed on YouTube and we just kind of debriefed. It was actually really cool.
Debriefed the.
What up, brother?
The dream's back in the house.
I'm obsessed with this place. The fact that we're just walking through so many artists here all the time, so many different types.
Every time I go to an in-real-life event, I'm always like, after a little while, I'm always kind of like, oh no, I'm good on my own. Like I don't need to go to these things. But then every time I go, I come back, I'm like, there's something. I don't know what it is you gain, but you gain something that is like it's like a mindset thing.
Yeah, well, especially something like this, like we're literally meeting so many different types of artists from globally around that have different ways of practicing and selling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The studios are so great. Seeing Christine White,
Cool.
Victim on song.
Oh my goodness.
Like crazy artists.
We're rocking and rolling here.
The floor covered, like,
Say, my name's Perry.
Perry.
Is there a way to choose
Perry. Can you hear me?
Can you hear Mike?
It's Mike. Look over here. Over to your right side.
Well, I guess.
Hey.
What is it called?
Perry.
Well, someone.
Look over here.
Someone in the live stream.
Hey, Jacob.
Right now, if you're watching
Show
this,
your
can you
sister.
tell me what the title of this stream is? I think it's called Behind the Scenes.
Don't hurt her.
Podcast live stream. That's what it is. And we're doing. It's not called.
Hey,
Behind the
yo.
Scenes.
Jacob. Jacob.
Or whoever's in the stream. Please let me know what I titled this. I can't see.
Look at Craigo's face.
Hey, look at your dad.
Got a lot of shit going on here, guys. A lot of things. Craig has entered the house. The man, the myth, the legend.
There he is.
You guys get to sleep last night? Dude, knocked out actually. Yeah.
We'll be right back after these short messages.
Dude, it's amazing. That came out really well. Yeah, and then me and Matt. And
that was really cool. Yeah. So cool. I will say, I think he did a lot of the face. Because when he left.
Okay, so
Oh,
we are going
baby. What's going on, everybody? It's your boy, Mike Theophil. Today, we're joined by some cool special guests. They're friends of Craig O, and now friends of ours. We've got Cade, and we have Espo Visuals here. Yeah, you can put up a camera on him. Don't worry about me. There he is, Craig O. Last night, it was the Define Art Festival Conference. What are we calling it, folks? Conference.
That's a big word. I like that word.
And I thought it was a great time, and I'm curious your thoughts, guys.
Yeah, it was fun. It was less nerve-wracking than I thought, speaking on a panel for the first time, but it also felt very legit for like a first one, like very professional, big stage, big lights. It was cool. It was a really cool first experience.
Yeah, it was the same thing, dude. I looked at Craig to see if he was nervous. Everyone looked pretty stoic up there. I felt stoic. My heart was beating a little bit, which was annoying. I was telling her a second ago. I was like, I wasn't nervous, but my heart kept beating. I was like, well, that's annoying because I think people can see it through the shirt. So I was like, okay, I like reposition myself. But as far as like the rest of it, like it was a great time. I mean, you were just super confident and composed. So when you have that in a host, it's easy for us to just show up and answer the questions and stuff. So you crushed it, bro.
Yeah.
There he is. He knows what to do.
No, I thought that was really important. I think working through the technical things was a little bit of a challenge, but in a good way, right? Because this is their first annual event. They'll do it next year, and any of the things where they might have fallen short, they're gonna deliver in spades next year. But I think overall it was great. The engagement was good. Twitter Spaces was phenomenal. We had a good number of people hop on YouTube. So I'm so grateful I got to have my friends come out here for the first time and connect with them in this manner. I mean, that's just touches my heart.
Yeah.
What do you think?
I camera operated, and
we saw you smiling a lot right there. You were.
I was.
The vibes were up.
I just thought it's a moment for everybody, right? It's a moment for Craig O. It's a moment for you guys. It's a moment for Sharon and the Knowlton.
Sharon just stumbles on,
Sharon.
On the middle of the
Sharon, you're so rude. Folks, we're working with amateurs here.
Oh my God, this is
the best.
But anyway, it was a big moment for everybody, so I was just really stoked about that. The microphone's behind you, Sharon. Get with the program, bud.
Yeah. Say a couple words. This is your building.
No, Sharon. Jesus Christ. Holy hell.
So we did some interesting
There
stuff
we go.
the other day. We had our friends here do a doodle for us, which I'm looking for. I don't know what happened to them.
Oh, that was really sweet.
And you guys became honorary Knowlton artists.
Yes.
And then I want to officially do something with my boy Craig O here, who's a Knowlton artist. Craig, here's your fob.
Thank you, man.
You come in the building.
Thank you. I never have to knock on the door again.
Nope, this is your home. And you come here whenever you need to, work to. All right, I'm out.
Oh, that's awesome.
Oh, yeah.
Then that's Sharon Nicholson. Can you fix the camera right now?
The vibes in this place are awesome. I think the vibes made the event just tremendously more smooth because everyone's just hanging out, everyone's just chilling. I mean, other than a couple small technical difficulties during the actual event, like everything was smooth. I talked to a ton of people after the event. I don't know, great conversation. I feel like it was a good segue from the panel, and then the people that wanted deeper questions would just walk up to one of the panelists and be like, "Yo, question about this." Talk to them for 20 minutes. It was great.
Yeah, it was really cool that people
some cool cats.
People did that, and I'm just blown away at this place. Like I had no idea that. I just thought it was an event space. I had no idea that there was an entire 2 stories of awesome creatives doing all different types of practices and art. So you're just walking around. You get to meet so many people.
I know, it's a cool hub. It really is a cool hub here.
Cool.
How'd you guys find out about this place specifically?
Yeah,
was that a long time ago?
It was 2 years ago. I had trouble at an old studio building downtown Bridgeport. I won't name the facility, but and an old friend of mine who was my best friend since I was in kindergarten actually fucked me over pretty hard. And I went to Fire Island for 4 days, and I called my brother there and I said, "There's a place called the Knowlton. If I can't make rent, you got my back for a little bit." And he believed in me before I believed in myself, and he knew I wouldn't need help, but that security made me jump. So I just did it then, and for this studio space specifically, because we'd been doing this since 2018. We started at Sacred Heart University. We were called the Buzz, and then we rebranded right before COVID to Downtime TV, and now here we are. We do our own stuff, but we do outsource work for fine people like Craig O. And Mecha Noodle Bar. If you guys don't know them, they do a lot of cool stuff with Eat Justice. I love that. They probably will, honestly. They're gonna make their way out there. They are a craft ramen noodle place that donates. They upcharge 50 cents per ramen, and they made, like, for example, last month was $25,000, and they donate to a different charity every month.
Oh, amazing.
God damn.
Yeah, and they just expanded to Boston. They started here in Fairfield, and now they have 2 locations in Boston. They took over Connecticut, obviously. So they're just yeah, that's what we do.
That's
That's
incredible.
how we got here.
Do they podcast as well?
No. They come on our podcast. The Dream is Free.
Okay.
That's how we got plugged in with them.
Podcast.
No, we do dope reveals, like the whole process of how they choose a nonprofit, what goes into it, all the behind the scenes, kind of vloggy, high-end vloggy stuff, basically, for them.
Very cool.
But yeah, it's been dope. It's been a ride. So that's why yesterday was so special, because, not only was it Craig O and Sharon and everybody, but we were the production crew. You know what I mean? Like we put on the whole live broadcast, which was dope to be able to do.
I'm excited to watch it.
You know what I thought was really interesting is how everything that we were talking about yesterday was like art focused, and the idea, or someone said on the stage, the ability to let artists deliver. But I think one of the biggest key metrics for me is not only an artist being good at what they do, but being loved by the people because they're kind and they're humble. And that to me is super, super important. And that's why I'm bullish on these 2 artists right here as they're building their brand, as to why it, I think I'm looking towards the latter part of 2023, because Ralph Quintero from the Daily Ralph, I mean, all he does is project evaluations. Yeah. So if I have a question on someone or something to be on his radar and have those conversations, that's what we're looking at. And I mean, you're talking about 2 people sitting at that table right there, Sydney and Cade, who their collections are going to be worth a lot because people value them a lot. That is the ultimate metadata, is being loved by the people. Just want to be clear on that.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
That's it. Well, A, thank you for saying that. And B, there was a couple times where I tried, I think at the end when we were closing statements, I tried to finish out with something along those lines, because I knew that when you come to a panel with a bunch of specific questions, for me, I've never been big on needing those details. I'm not a detail-oriented guy, which is a problem sometimes in work. But I always, for me, the North Star is the only thing that has always mattered. And as long as the things I'm doing are in line with that. And so at the end of the conference, at the end of the panel, when a bunch of people were asking questions, a lot of them were super nitty-gritty details. And I was like, look, you can ask me these questions, but it doesn't matter. I'm going to tell you an answer and you're going to take it or not. But in reality, the only thing that actually matters is you post content and people like you, and you put out value that people like. And then people will associate that value with your art pieces and they'll buy you and support. I'm like, but if you can't get past that little North Star main point, then none of these other little details that you're worried about, should I post this many times? They're like, what about this? And that's what doesn't matter if you can't get this into your head as the North Star. So that's why I'm always big on it. The rest of those details is it's just noise. It's whatever. It's stuff you figure out on the way,
I said that to my wife. She has a soap business and she's trying to do the detail of her work. And I said, I don't care. Doesn't matter. You've got a good product. People like you. They're going to buy from you. Yeah. That's it. Last thing.
I love it. No, keep talking, Craigo. How was your night, Craigo? How did you feel?
Dude, you peaced out early. You were gone. You just disappeared. It was 9 o'clock. Where'd you go?
Well, that's because my friend Cade doesn't have 2 kids and a wife at home. But one day you might have someone special in your life and 2 little offspring. So, she asked that just after I would come back home and help her out with some things for her today's. So she supports me. They actually were there last night. And Perry goes, I was here at your crypto thing. And I was like, oh, she's like, but we had to leave because there was no food. So no, my night was good. I hung around for an hour after, but I think I was kind of depleted of energy after it was done because the buildup of promotion, content of questions, reviewing with you guys ahead of time, making sure we were promoting enough. I was exhausted when it was done. And so I was just kind of I actually wanted to come up here and just sleep on the couch. I was done. I
feel you there, dude. Yeah, we went with Matt after we went bar hopped. We bar hopped. We went to 35 different places, it felt like. And I was like, wow.
Around.
Wow. That was a lot.
Where'd you guys go?
I couldn't tell you
what towns.
Place.
We went.
It was something with an F.
I don't know who Matt is.
He's another TikTok content.
Oh, Matt. Yeah, I'm getting it. Yes.
Long curly black hair. Yep. 5'6" maybe, something like that. 5'6", 5'7". Yeah. He's a big content creator. He posts some really good stuff. He's one of my favorites. I follow him for notes. I just take notes on him. He does very similar content where he has himself split screen with some type of viral topic, and he'll just talk about it as a reporter. and he crushes it. A couple of his channels have just like unbelievable amounts of engagements, like millions and millions of engagements. Crazy.
Yeah, we're actually getting together for coffee in the next 2 weeks. We had
yeah.
a great conversation. He says he went heavy on stocks.
Mhm.
And he's like, Craig, can I send you some people? I was like, let's just get together for coffee first, because it's, you know, I'm so grateful at this point to have the relationships I have. And now I actually get to choose who comes on to this podcast. And I think that was one of the biggest worries at first, because I remember that was one of my conversations with Mike saying, oh man, I mean, I hope we'll get some people to come on.
Yeah.
You know, it was like 50 episodes ago.
That's how it goes. You're like not
Hell
exactly
yeah.
sure where it's gonna go, and you're just like, I'll just start this now. I feel like the last few years has been basically just me trying that and then forgetting about it a few months, because I get into it, I do the thing, it like works kinda, and I do a bunch of stuff for a while, and then I get in this mindset of like, oh, I can't do that again. Like there's no way. And then I like don't do it, and then something happens. Eventually I try it, and then it works just like last time, and then I do that for 8 months, then the cycle repeats. It's just hard to remind yourself of that kind of thing.
Is it in terms of like what's an example of that?
I don't know. Well, like a small one would be like how we were talking about a second ago, like going to the in-route events. Like sometimes I just miss them because I'm like, like there's nothing to get out of that. Like I don't know. And every single time without fail, I go to an in real life event for literally anything. It's always good vibes after. And I'm always like, man, I should do that more often. And then 3 months passes, and I'm like, I'm gonna miss this one, and the cycle repeats. Like I said, it's just how it goes.
I relate to that very much.
Yeah, I think it's just because I'm like naturally more introvert. I can turn it on, like super extrovert out there, just because we were there. But for the most part, like not in that situation, I probably won't say much. Kind of just hang out and do my thing.
Yeah, a lot of times for me, it's the idea of it, the anticipation I don't like. But then when I'm there, I'm like, oh, this is great. I'm having a great time, good people. But yeah, I get that in terms of just like you need to remind yourself how good it is, because it's sometimes you forget.
Craig, would you anything surprise you while you were on stage?
No, I wouldn't say that anything surprised me. I liked how the questions were going down. You know, I think just dealing with some of the, you know, which normal on a first, you know, on being this is our first annual convention, I would say that it was trying to balance the technical in between while giving Evan the love, and then also making sure that the questions that I was asking of my panelists were not going to get lost on the people listening. So I'm hoping that there were if there were one or two people there last night that were like, oh my gosh, they woke up this morning energized and they said, my life is going to change. Like I remember the night that I didn't go to sleep. It was March of last year. Did not go to sleep. Rachel comes downstairs. She's like, why are you still awake? I said, babe, I got this. And I'm sure you guys might have had that moment where it was like that euphoric excitement. Do you remember that first moment?
Yes. Yeah, 100%. That's
wait, so you said a year ago? Craig, wait, what were you talking about?
March of 2021 is when I really started to lean in, understand, and be educated on NFTs. It was my friend Sean. That's my kid to choke himself.
Yeah. Okay, got it.
Yeah.
No, that was the best thing ever. I jumped in and had hours and hours and hours and hours before I looked up for my phone.
Yeah. I think I saw, especially with this one girl I met, I saw a little twinkle of that where she was starting to get it and was like, wait, I think I can do this. And I'm like, yes.
Yeah, no, literally. Yeah, that was
That's awesome to see that.
Those vibes are the best, right? When you get into it. Yeah, I think for 2 weeks straight, there's a period where I slept every other day. I actually haven't talked about that in a while. I kind of forgot that happened, but there was a 2-week period right in the beginning where there was like all these opportunities everywhere, and it was so early, and I was like, yo, I like can't sleep. There's no way I can qualify sleeping right now. That's just not it right now. I gotta be awake. And so for 2 weeks straight, I slept every other day, and I was an actual zombie, and I was door dashing. It was super dangerous. And I was living in my car at that point, and like if I was in my car not door dashing, I was in a parking lot in a hotel, just on my phone, just scouring OpenSea, going on Twitter, just going crazy with everything. But that foundation like really, really set me up for pretty much the next year. So I'm happy I did it. But that was miserable. It was also the best thing ever.
Wow, my story is a little more boring. I was sitting in my kitchen, you know, like not in my car, you know, in my kitchen. Like, man, wow.
Yeah, I was
can really appreciate that.
More boring as well. I was just sitting in our studio at the time.
Is that how it was?
Learning. Yeah, and it was also pandemic, so we were just inside in the cold, like in a cave, literally for 12 hours every single day, all day. Just
that's tough.
Learning, watching videos, like doing all the things.
Yeah, mine was silly. Yeah, because I was living in the car, so I was just traveling broke. I wasn't like fully broke. I was like kind of broke at that point. NFTs really made me broke those first few weeks, but I was traveling. I was going into a national park, and then I literally there was a YouTube video I was watching. As I was entering the park, there was a little bit of service, and I was probably 10 minutes out of the park, And this video pops up from Journey Crypto. He mentioned Bored Apes in it. It was like the third time I heard about it, and I was like, okay, like let me just real quick just glance on OpenSea. So I pulled over on the highway, and I just went on OpenSea. About 30 minutes later, I just found this other NFT I liked. Someone had shilled it, and I was like, okay, I'm just gonna buy it. And the second I clicked buy, and I went into my wallet, and I looked at it, and I was like, wait a second, I just paid $400 for this picture. Someone else wants this picture and would pay me $400 for it because they were selling. It was like a up and coming collection, whatever. And when I thought about that, I was like, I have an asset here that people would pay money for. As soon as that clicked, I was like, oh, there's like, I'm sold. This is just a fucking another collectible. There's like, no, this is so stupid that people are thinking it's not real. I'm like, people are paying you though. Like there are people out there literally on the marketplace buying these things, trading back and forth. This is it. This is so lit. And like the digital world, it made sense to me literally from the get-go. I had no like reservations about it. Even when there's scams or crypto things that are going on, I know those things suck and they are really bad for crypto Web3, but I just like, there's just no path where we don't still get there anyway. So that's just the way I thought about it. And that's kind of what that North Star, it's all kind of noise, but yeah. Anyways, should we talk about something else? Should we move on from NFT land?
Yeah.
Should we move on and talk about like, I don't know. What?
Sam Bankman-Fried, FTX US. Wow. I mean, what a fall from grace. A week and a half ago, the man on paper was worth $16 billion. And today, he's not worth anything, and he's in custody. My gosh. And you know what's interesting? I said he is a nicer version of Do Kwon because he didn't run. They were able to apprehend him. And he apologized in a memo to his employees because basically what he did was leverage off of customers' funds, which in a way kind of makes sense. But I guess they had prided him on being very much. I was just doing a lot of reading this morning. He prided himself on the level of transparency that he provided. Unfortunately, his time ran out, but he was funding big political campaigns. So I think he's going to be fairly well protected. Yeah. Let's just see, Mike, how that unravels, my friend.
I know it's going to be crazy.
Honestly, a lot of thinking.
Dude, the FTX news was wild because he literally a week ago, every single finance YouTuber I know is sponsored by FTX. So for FTX not to be, or basically to just fall from grace, so that's wild because it really hurts all their credibility. And it's funny because like there was maybe 2 or 3 YouTubers in the NFT land who got sponsored by them, and I haven't heard a word from any of them, obviously. But it's weird because there's people that I respected with millions of followers that have been repping FTX for a long time.
But guess what? There's 500 plus exchanges. Did you guys know this? I didn't. 500 plus exchanges out there in the world. We know about the top 10, Binance, Coinbase. Like those are probably not going anywhere, but there's still going to be a panic mode. So we will see a lot of money coming off of these and going into more wallets, even USDC, stablecoin. A lot of people are going to be moving their stuff into their hot and cold wallets for sure. Yeah, not your keys, not your crypto.
As they should. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's just I just can't believe people stop money on these exchanges. I'm like, we've literally seen it happen 3 times in a row.
Yeah.
Like after the first one, I was like, okay, we're out. Like you have to be out. This entire thing fell apart. Like, why would you be in here? And then the second one happened. And I was like, all right, I'm not even gonna make a video because you should be out of here. Then it happens again, and I was like, okay. And then FTX drops, and everyone's still surprised. Like, how are you all still surprised? Like, it's literally happened. It's just like dominoes.
Yeah.
Like the memes are literally true. There's like a meme with like a grave, like the Grim Reaper, and he's like going like door by door by door, and it's just like Celsius, but it's like every single one in order, and they've like crossed out the one that's been killed off. It's just so funny, dude. So funny. We almost got away from NFT land. We jumped right back in. What else has happened in NFT land recently? The FTX news, Elon Musk with Twitter, he turned off verification because people were claiming to be him. So it fell apart immediately within 24 hours.
You know what? I think he's going to make the space expand. If one thing that people grabbed from last night, I said it, and I think someone else reiterated it, that Twitter Spaces with video creation of short video content is going to be huge. But I think it's only going to be with the people like you, myself, that we're establishing ourselves. Like if you come out of nowhere, I think the chances are a little bit tougher. Yeah. And I'm going to get that verification check mark because I think if you don't have it, that might be a challenge. I don't know. We'll see.
But you can't get it anymore.
Right. So right now they close it off, but I don't know how long.
Wow.
Like it might, I don't know if it's like forever gone or what. I just made sure to get it just because I was like, whatever. I don't know. Even though it's $8 a month's kind of stupid, but right now it's closed off but it's because of the impersonation thing. So I think they're working around it. I assume they're going to bring it back. And then what was the other thing? Twitter Space $8. Oh, and so Craig, I don't know if you saw it, but Elon Musk jumped into a Twitter space about FTX situation, and it went from a few thousand people to almost 500,000 people in the Twitter space. Imagine 500,000 people in a Twitter space. And the thing was, what really sucked, what I was talking to you about, it was the worst Twitter space I've ever heard in my life. Everyone shit their pants. Everyone just like forgot what they're like. They didn't know what to say. Elon Musk is in this space. They're like, Dogecoin, like just can't form actual questions. And like everyone's mics were going in and out. And like Frank is up there like trying to get a follow. It was just like, oh, guys, Jesus Christ. I probably would have the same thing though.
No, I wouldn't have let you. I would have been texting you, and I would have been like, Kate, stay calm, stay calm, stay calm. You're good. You got this. It's only Elon. He goes to the bathroom and dresses just like us. We got this.
Dude, what an epic podcast that would be to get Elon Musk. That's probably top 5, like one of the hardest things in the world to get. To be like, yo, I need an hour and a half of your time. Or like Lex Fridman, who got him for like 3 hours for podcast. Can you imagine? I don't know how much. I mean, I'm sure he didn't pay. Like Lex Fridman didn't pay, but for someone else to. I mean,
but I don't think you could pay. I have to say, with what he's worth, I think he puts his time where he wants to. I don't think money.
Yeah.
Once you get to that level, money, you see money very differently.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's not going on a pod to get paid.
Well, so if he goes to like a keynote speech, right, or if he goes to some kind of live thing, I'm like, how much would they pay him? Or would he just be like, I'm just doing it for free?
I would assume so.
I just can't imagine him saying even breathing towards anything unless they're going to give him $3 million or something. Because like Gary Vee charges $250K for keynote speeches. So I'm like, all right, well, if Gary Vee's charging that much, I feel like Elon's levels above that. I'm like, he's got to be charging at least $1 million for anything.
Oh, yeah.
It's unbelievable, dude. So much money. So much money. What's up, TikTok fam?
You know what I'm thinking? Because I'm looking at my 2 amazing children, and I'm thinking to myself, there's a really good pizza spot around the corner. And what I'd love to see is maybe 10, 15 minutes, whatever you guys want to talk about. But I'd love for all of us to go get a nice pizza with some salad, fill their bellies. I'm just talking out loud, just an idea. I'm just putting it into the universe.
Yeah, let's I could put us live, get us out of here and go get some food.
But I just,
Should we do some rapid fire Q&A stuff?
Also, just
sure.
throwing it out there, I was supposed to leave at 2, but my flight is now delayed, so I can.
Is it actually?
Yeah.
Love it.
How long?
An hour.
Okay. Nice. So you're looking at 3?
Yeah.
Should we set like an alarm? Are we gonna? You remember that?
I'll remember.
Okay. I always have to set alarms.
I feel like
I'm organized.
Dude, I always.
If you guys
want
to go get pizza, I feel like you guys should head out now. Then, if you're gonna be leaving by 3.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
Alrighty.
Let's get it done.
Let me get this. All right, guys. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah.
Appreciate you. Appreciate you guys for coming on. Obviously, Craig-O, thanks for coming in.
Thank you.
And we will talk to you folks soon.
Pick up Matthew first and foremost. Then from there, get some extra amenities for the ride. And then the ride is headed to the one and only Lake Compounds, over 100 years of service in the state, providing smiles and happiness and joy. And then after, I don't know what we're going to do. What are we doing after? Come back.
What's up, dude? Renee loves to have everything in her trunk all at once. Everything, everywhere, all at once in Renee's trunk. That's going to be our spoof movie. Tell me about your feet wear.
Crocs all day, every day. Probably, honestly, my favorite shoe company ever. I want to get signed by Crocs.
Renee, would you be signed by Crocs?
Would I be? I've never worn Crocs, but I will now. Like, I've never.
So short answer is yes. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we were here at Donut Inn, Fairfield, Post Road. Arguably the best coffee spot. Oh my God, run, hurry up. Oh, yes.
Flossing it back in. Disc herniation. Also.
Hypertension.
Do some of these. No. That's how you do it.
I've already had her coffee already.
Because I was assertive and went in for my coffee.
So are you proud about your assertiveness?
Yeah.
Do you think it will get you to new places, to higher heights?
I got it. I want it. I got it. That's all I'm saying.
Renee's not going anywhere. No way with that singing.
I feel so much better after this.
You think you're going to make it to Hollywood?
I don't want to make it to Hollywood.
American Idol? Singing?
I could win American Idol.
You have one of the worst voices I've ever heard.
You could win?
Yeah, Golden Buzzer.
No way. That's America's Got Talent, Golden Buzzer. You don't even know the show. You're out.
Oh, there's Bonnie. Are you sitting on the Bonita?
No. What?
You guys can have this Bonington for you.
Oh, let's go, dude.
One for you, one for Matt. Oh, he's eating the Bonington.
Nice pop, dude. Pops, dude. Michael loves nipples. Yo, what are you chewing on right now?
Here we go. I moved my arm down and went to 2
Little Big League Chew. Brought to you by Downtime TV and Big League Chew. Awful.
The 3 tickets. Just click 1.
Yeah, but it has the parking.
No,
Yeah.
You're not getting the parking. It's just we want
Classic.
So, Tony, come here, bud. You're not from Connecticut. And so, what do you think about lake compounds being in Connecticut? And just, this is, you know, your, I'd say 6th time, right?
It's like 4th, maybe, I think.
Really?
I would say that the park generally very concise, which, you know, people always want to go to Disney or Six Flags. It's like too big, too much, honestly, in one day. But like this park specifically, like I said, concise. You get all the good rides in quickly, and you just have a great time.
Yeah, and today we're going to do we're going to show it all. We're going to show the games. We're going to show the food. We're going to show the drinkage. We're going to show all the rides, especially, and the water parks.
Look at Chuckles, dude. The Main Gate Creamery. Look at that. You can get some potatoes, dude.
Roller coasters, rides, fun. Michael throwing up. Let's go. Like that.
I'm gonna turn around up there.
Who wants to go front?
I'll go front with you. Okay.
I want the first round.
It's not, you don't even go that high. Because it starts where it goes you back. No, because it goes back. You get up higher in the back on this one. You don't know this one like I do. Yeah.
Tony, if your shoes come off, that's sad. Never gonna make it. Off rip.
Oh my God, Renee, are you gonna scream?
Yeah.
Yeah, you better. Get out of here. Bye. That's a good
Bye.
That's a good do. Bye.
Let's go. We got this. Holding on to this with my dear life. My dear life. Yeah, baby. We're gonna go up, we're gonna go down. Hawaii. You know, all of them.
Phobia is even higher. We went on that last time.
I could kind of like lean forward, can you?
Yeah, that's all right.
Can it like go already? Oh my god.
Higher. Oh my God,
Stop, Tony.
Oh my God, Renee. Renee, with a GoPro.
No, I can't.
Why? Open your eyes.
I'm shaking.
It's okay. We're like maybe 10 feet above the ground.
No, I cannot open my eyes.
Okay, maybe 6.5 feet.
Renee, get ready. It's about to drop.
Oh, here comes. Oh no.
Here we go. Here we go.
Oh,
One more time. Everybody's feeling fine. Renee! Oh, it's perfect.
All right, guys. Tony here, Downtime TV. We're here after our first ride, Zoomerang. As you can see behind me, it's a great ride. You start pretty high, cart of 4, rows of 2. I was coupled with Renee. Mike and Matthew took the front row. It was a great time. Definitely, starting up high, a lot of suspense gets built, a lot of ticking, a lot of you don't know when to go, big loops, a couple twists and turns, and you go reverse down the ride. Always love that. Can't see anything in front of you. More excitement. I would give this ride for lake compounds, I would say an 8.4 out of 10. Yeah, it flings you off.
Just go. Just trust the process.
I don't want to spin though. I don't know about that one, dude. All right, guys, 175 years, as you can see with the grass. We're here at the Sawmill. What is it?
Sawmill Plunge.
Sawmill Plunge, 1846. Brand new ride since 1846. Very excited. First wet of the day. Stay tuned.
Shirts and shoes are required on all rides.
Oh, shirts and shoes.
In every way, shape,
I'm not saying a problem. I'm just reading the signs.
ready to go. He's confused.
I know I'm the center of the vlog, I guess. You always do these shots of me, Tony, and it makes like my face like.
Wait, what?
You always do these shots of me either with that or with that up in my face, or even with your phone.
Okay, but this is very wide right now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, dude.
Why?
I'm gonna be
to the right, Renee. Center your weight. It's like a bobsled. 4. Now to the right. To the right. Right. Oh shit, dude. Yeah, to the right. Ow! Fuck, that hurt my knee. I hit it. Whoa, out. To the right. To the left. Fucking Jamaican bobsled. Oh, champ.
What a run Bannock is having. He's letting loose on this extremely fast course. And even with that rickety old sled, the Jamaicans off nothing through the turns. Something's got to be wrong. The Jamaicans are a record pace as they fly almost out of control around the turn. Now the speed seems too much, and I don't think he's going to be able to hold it.
Reese, you're dead.
All right, dude. So that's the end of the Sawmill Plunge. I will say line long as fuck, as we typically said, as Matt comes in here with these log rides. You know, always a long wait time. Excuse me.
Yeah.
To the log, you know, one log, 4 people, whatever. You know, but drop was pretty decent. Got nice and wet. I would say for the log ride, I would say a 7.7.
Yeah. I wish. Yeah. That's accurate. I wish there was like more in the woods.
Yeah.
A couple of those mini drops.
Right.
Then the big one.
Yeah, like that. More drops.
Yeah.
More drops.
Yeah. But there's more rides.
Yeah.
So I'm just getting.
See the next one.
I feel soda.
It is animatronic. Look at it move, dude. It's moving.
Got a slit in his neck.
Yeah, someone fucking. Oh, he's missing an eye. They really fucked this one up, dude. He's missing an eye, teeth, and nose. At all. There's no eyelid. It's just a thing. So put your hand in there, dude. Do not touch. It says. Oh, it feels. Oh, it's. Lunchtime here for Downtime TV. Michael's happy. Matthew, thumbs up with the salad. Renee in the car, ready for a nap.
Yeah.
Oh, wait. Yes. Oh, sauce on the side. Just a little. Just a little.
Got it.
Oh, he licked his fingers and he went in for the bite. Oh,
I saw that.
all right, guys. We're here about halfway done, I guess you could say, with the lake compound. Second leg here. Renee, what do you think so far?
Having a great time. Excited for ice cream.
Matthew.
Definitely excited for the ice cream. Can't wait for part 2.
Dope.
Had a great lunch for the intermission.
Right. Nice little break.
Ready to go.
Get some downtime, obviously, as you can see the sign behind me. But now we're hitting the water park. Stay tuned. Let's go. Get wet again.
Yeah, it'll be probably
Very nice view. I'm taking a video of you.
Definitely Duncan.
Hey, Renee.
Look at that thing, dude. Look at that thing.
I think it was crazy.
Oh, we gotta do that. We gotta do that.
Holy shit.
We should just do that. Get up to the top of that one too.
Holy shit, dude.
Bro, I say we do that.
Oh, hell yeah.
Anything to say?
A little bit high up here. Freaking out, dude.
Freaking out a little bit?
A little bit, dude.
Feel it down your feet, you know? Cibidinho.
That's a nice view.
We're just like spin this around a bit.
Almost time.
Oh, Tony.
My bad. All right. Here we go. Oh boy.
Oh boy.
Thanks, dude. Holy shit.
How was it?
Got pretty high. It was awesome.
Hey, we got it. All right. So we got one in. The one is going to be the rainbow ball. Cool. If you wanted to, if you play again, you pick another one. You can still trade up to one of the other basketballs. So you want to go again for one of those?
I guess, right? Might as well.
Sure. Go for it.
Yeah, so, yeah, another 10 rack.
He's going for the double.
Almost. That's almost the one. Oh, we got a win there. All right.
And the first shot. Oh, Michael. So close, so close. Except for the second shot, and it's off. And, oh, just a tad short. Last one. We believe in him. Michael with a shot. Oh, let's go, dude. Oh, my God. Oh.
I wanted Husky.
We have a winner. Oh, my God. A double winner. Oh, my God, Michael. Finally. This hard work pays off. Years of UB and Ludlow, playing Wakeman, whatever it is, has now paid off. All the hard work and dedication, sweat, the blood, the tears, all for this, baby, this moment at Lake Compounds. Yeah.
Wow, you picked Yukon one?
Out of all of them, there's like Clippers, Aces, Wizards, Giants.
It smells like a Buddha that is a little flavorful.
Wow, look at that fucking ice cream, dude.
He's like, these have been out here since April.
You don't want those.
You want the husky, but the husky.
I wanted the dog huskies, like the ones that look like dogs.
Yeah.
Look, an actual dog. We go back to the video. Click me off one of the five. You really want one?
It's been from April?
It's been out there since April, so like rain and shit, probably moldy.
No, don't get that, Mike.
There you see orange and purple phobia. Orange and purple phobia. 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 Phobia.
ghosty dinner there. Oh! Uh-oh. It's about to get real spooky. Oh. Mirrors everywhere. Oh, jump scare. Oh, ghost waking up out of bed. It's a fortune teller. Oh. What's that say? Oh, bad ghosts. Ghost has a bomb. Looks like we got a little cemetery here. There's some witch graves. They're both hanged on different dates. Seems like a lot of these are the graves of witches. Very, very spooky. Did you know Milli Vanilli was caught limp syncing on stage at Lake Compound? I didn't know that happened here, but that's very fascinating. All right, so we're gonna maybe step into Zoomer's Gas and go and take a little car ride. All right, my chariot awaits. Oh, there's some other cars. Oh, they're playing the theme from Halloween. This got super spooky all of a sudden. Some billboards. Billboards for that pink hot dog stand. And a yardgoatsbaseball.com. It's a dinosaur peeking through the trees over there. That's interesting. Oh, watch out. There's the popo. A man, a miss. A car, a curve. He kissed the miss and missed the curve. Burma shave. Oh, the fog machine. To the Atomic Drive-In. It's like a little drive-in theater. Wonder if they play shows on that.
Unusually intense weather patterns swirling around the northwestern corner of Lake Compounds today as Storm Boozifer brings with him some severe thunder and lightning. A slow-moving cool mountain breeze has swept through the warm air mass in the area and has produced enough extreme thunder and lightning to last all season. Stay tuned for updates on this exciting storm.
Why don't we hop aboard the good old Ferris wheel and see if we can get a bird's eye view of the park. And once again, I, a paying customer, am told that I cannot ride the Ferris wheel by myself. I asked why, and the girl's like, oh, it's a park policy. Well, that's not a reason. Why can I not ride the Ferris wheel? Well, if you were get at the top and you'd have a medical condition, you wouldn't have anyone else. So if I had a medical condition at the top and there was someone with me, are they supposed to climb down and tell someone? This single rider on a Ferris wheel thing needs to be rectified. I do not understand. Someone who is in charge of theme parks, please contact me. I was told in Cedar Point it was because of suicide reasons. So apparently I'm going to have a suicide freak out and jump out of the Ferris wheel. Here at Lake Compounds, I'm going to have a stroke up at the top of the Ferris wheel. What? Apparently a Ferris wheel is so dangerous you need to completely operate under the buddy system. There's a grilled cheese alligator right there. In memory of Enterprise. Is that some sort of political statement? Whoa. Oh. Oh, here they go. Wait. No. There they go. You can see the ominous caution tape wrapped around these clowns, blocking off the kiddie area. kiddie area is closed tonight because Halloween is no time for children. We have the flying elephant ride. There's the drum circus. You can see the giant drumming clown who presumably drums the heads of all the children in those buckets. Oh, what's going on here? Who's that? Bucifer.
And this is the most incredibly haunted house in the entire world.
Oh, those gargoyles just spewed water on the children that would have been standing there. Oh, he's spewing some more water. These are very, very evil gargoyles. Look for some of the seasonal snacks. You can actually drink bags of blood, which in real life is very, very, very unsanitary. One thing that's a little confusing is they're using a very liberal amount of caution tape in their Halloween theming, but they're simultaneously using caution tape to close off certain rides. So it's hard to tell what's closed and what's just decorated for Halloween. Oh, and there's for people who do not value their own lives, safety, or mental health. I hate that ride. Oh, no, look how high it goes. Look at all those fortunate people on the Ferris wheel that were lucky enough to bring a friend with them to amusement park. What's going on here? Oh my gosh. Wait, what? Oh, they almost didn't make it. Oh, that is a brutal slow motion corkscrew. This roller coaster looks punishing. You see the pirate swinging back and forth, back and forth. Oh, here they go. Whoa! Oh my God. They're coming back. They're coming back. And here they come. Here they come. Oh, you knew what it was when you get on it. Got this twirling thing right here. Anna made me get on one of these ones. I don't understand the appeal. All right, the cemetery is filling with zombies. That's always a good sign. Oh, what's going on? I think we may have to dub in some copyright-free music. Whoa! Uh-oh, they've left the graveyard. What's going on here? These blacklight murals are even more terrifying in the black light. This is an interesting statue here of a little Connecticut alligator. All right, so you have a timed entrance to the actual haunted attraction. It starts at between 7 and 7:30. We're heading over there right now. Oh, here we go. Up, around. Oh, loop-de-loop. Okay, apparently, like Compounds was seen on Stranger Things season 3, trailer 1 at 1:40. They put the timestamps 1:40 and 3:12. Ah, yeah, there we go. Wait, you know who I am? Well, don't jump scare me, okay? We're just gonna. Jeez. Jeez. Oh, I knew you were gonna do that. All right, in line for the haunted graveyard. Hey there. Skeleton playing the piano. Oh, some dragons. Oh, look, a friendly clown just gave a rose. What a nice clown. Hey.
I know you from YouTube.
Do you? Oh, the clown knows my name. That's great. Oh, you're an evil clown? I thought you were a good clown. Pretty cool castle facade out here. Oh, jeez, come on. All right, we're in a cemetery now.
How's it going?
Hey, grave digger. Oh! Jeez. Whoa! See a woman grieving on that gravestone. She might be real, I don't know. Ooh, the Corey grave. Look at him move around. All these flashing jack-o'-lanterns. Oh, look at these happy cows. Oh no. It's the cannibalism shed. I'm sorry, I'm not in a position to help you right now. JD Country Meats.
Hope you're hungry or not. Got a special treat right here. Y'all ready?
What are you doing? Oh no! Oh no! Human and a meat grinder. Oh, you can see her guts pouring out. That's horrible. Oh, it's horrible. Oh, we're in the cooler where they freeze their uneaten human remains. Someone's in there. Oh, the delightful sound of pigs screaming. Okay, what's this? A little farm scene. A little zombie farm family. Oh, some sort of werewolf monster. There's Ernie, the evil dog. Oh, there's the devil. Doesn't get much worse than that. Oh, look at these spooky bats. Oh, look at these horrific beasts. Oh, jeez. Quit growling at me. Oh, look at that guy. Heading into some sort of alligator shack. This is some sort of voodoo room here.
What do you want most in life? Power, fame?
A family, I'd say.
Well then, all you have to do is hand over your eternal soul.
I need that, sorry.
Oh, well, that's a real shame.
Creepy snakes down there in the swamp. Hey, spider face. Oh, look at those spiders up there. You can see them moving. Very heavy spider theming going on. Oh, jeez.
Protect your necks.
Protect our necks.
They're gonna suck every ounce of blood out of you.
Ooh. Okay, we're in some sort of vampire castle. Oh, look at that. Vlad the Impaler. Hey there. These vampires. Look at these creepy vampires. Oh, what happened? That's a dead vampire hunter. Oh, look, I think it's Snow White. So many vampires in this castle, it's ridiculous. Oh, there's a baby hanging from that tree. That's not a good sign. We're dealing with witches now. Oh, no.
You see him staring at you? He's up on that hill and he knows.
Who's up there?
Our Lord, our Master, our Savior.
Oh, no.
Satan himself.
Satan? Hey, look, a black cat.
See which one.
Oh, look, a tiki. Oh, look, I think there's a human sacrifice going on top of that pyramid. Ooh, that's a lot of skulls.
Touch it! Go touch the gold!
Oh, I won't. Don't touch the gold.
Yes? What the bloody hell took you so long? Have you been vlogging everything?
No. Sorry. So dark in here. Oh! Screaming in the dark. No fair.
I'll steal your souls and curse you all!
Oh my gosh. Jeez. Oh, what the heck? Oh, jeez.
Oh, that looks sick.
That was cool.
Those are my weapons.
Oh, rotating body.
Hey, are you?
Jeez.
I want to wear your face like a mask.
You don't wear my face. Oh, so much yelling in here. Oh, look at that. Who's that guy?
Blade only hurts for a second.
Well, it hurts for a second.
That's a good deal.
Demon phobia? I think everyone should be afraid of demons. Oh, those are spooky faces poking out at us. Ugh. Oh, go into the light. Oh, this is messing with my head. All this, and now we're heading into a haunted house. That's great. Oh, the mailbox is haunted. That was blood curdling. For a duck? Oh, wow.
Hey, stop touching me.
Got a satanic dinner feast going on here. Oh! Oh, super overflowing bloody bathtub.
IQ of 2. No. No, but on this. Yeah. Oh, you are a brave man, sir.
What's the worst that could happen?
Faster.
Oh, now we're gonna go to the hospital. Maybe we got some, they can help me with my mental disorders. We're going into so many haunted houses. Oh. Oh. Oh, gosh. This is a bad hospital. Oh. Hello. Oh my gosh. There's babies crawling on the wall. Corpses everywhere. This is terrifying. Oh, and there's the ambulance. And I think we survived. So that was Lake Compounce and Lake Compounce's haunted graveyard. I must say that was a very impressive haunt, a very long haunt. They pretty much covered every imaginable haunted environment. So yeah, at the world's oldest amusement park. Appreciate you guys watching. If you'd like to see other places I've been, amusement parks, roadside attractions, museums, and other fun stuff, check the interactive map in the description. If you'd like to help support the channel, consider buying a t-shirt. Consider donating to Patreon. A $3 or more donation will get you a postcard once a month. All that information is down in the description. But for now, this one's in the bag. scare me, don't scare me.
What? Don't come up behind me, come on.
Hey, you all, and good evening. Carpetbagger here, coming to you live from the north. More specifically, we are in Fenton, Missouri, and even more specifically than that, we are at Creepy World. This is a full Scream Park, a conglomeration of haunted attractions and haunted activities occurring here just a little bit outside of the great city of St. Louis. So we're prepared here to dive deep into an entire park of screams and scares. So please follow me. You can see that giant, ominous pumpkin greeting us to Creepy World. So it looks like there's a whole bunch of different haunts here, but you do them all in chronological order as you enter here through St. Lucifer's Hospital. Hey, how are you?
Oh, I'm so good. Now that you're here.
Oh.
Welcome to our show. You better enjoy it. We prepared very, very hard. Okay?
All right.
So hard to show you this. Come on,
I'm excited.
Look at our tales of terror. It's
All right.
beautiful.
We got
It's
this,
all new. Come
this
on.
big wall here. It's interactive. You can see like the projection mapping there. Oh, look at that. Big spirit there in the middle. Cool stuff. Yeah, you can see that wall there. It transforms into different buildings. Turned into an asylum here. It was a haunted house just a moment ago. Really, really cool stuff. Oh yeah, the buzz through the air. As people prepare to enter. You've been waiting for me.
Yes, come on. You went to the darkness so many times, but you never came here.
I'm sorry.
I waited for you for so many years, Carpetbagger. You better enjoy it, okay?
I'm really looking forward to it. It just looks awesome.
It's our first out to the hospital.
Oh no. Excuse me. Excuse me. Excuse me, sir. Oh, got your chainsaw going. Oh, come on. Hey there. Hey. What's wrong with his eyes? Oh, let's see that. Oh, that's some good bull whipping.
Can I help you?
Sorry.
Do you speak?
How's it going, clown?
It's going good. Weirdo, just camera in my face.
Jeez.
You could say hello, and I'd be like, oh, hey.
What a grumpy clown.
Michael.
Oh, who's this guy? Where's he wait, where's he going? Who was that? And here we go. Into the St. Lucifer's Hospital. Hey! All right. Oh man! Jeez! Oh, look at this. Oh my god! What a strange person. Us kids crawling on the ceiling in here. Oh gosh! Hey there. Hey buddy. How are you doing? All right, I'll just go past him. Babies crawling on the wall. Lots of babies crawling on the wall here. Oh gosh, that was an upside down. Oh, who are you? Oh, what was that? Oh my gosh. So much ghoulish. No, I didn't even see you. Why are you up there? Oh, look at the monkey. Monkeys in cages. Oh my god! Are we going outside? Hey there! Headed into this spooky barn, perhaps? Oh, you're behind me, aren't you? Hey, buddy!
But yeah, so I know some of your stories. We're here, episode 55. We've got Tony, we've got Mike, and we've got the great Paul Paps. How the hell are you?
I'm good. That was a lovely intro. I'm really glowing.
I don't like to go into. We just like to start and go.
Okay.
You know?
Yeah. Good.
Paul Paps to us is now a friend, but he started off as a teacher and a mentor.
Just a little background. I'm a teacher at Sacred Heart University, and I had you guys both in class. But as far as my media career, I'd say this: like the influences on me were talk radio in Chicago back in the 80s, and then I think I was probably 13 years old, and I discovered David Letterman. And it's not that I wanted to be David Letterman. I was like, you know what? I just want to be in that neck of the woods.
Yeah.
You know, everyone doesn't have to be Johnny Carson and David Letterman and Bob Costas.
Yeah.
But I just like, I want to be on working media and make jokes and have fun and talk some sports, talk some other stuff. And
yeah,
that's kind of how it all started for me.
Everyone, dream is free. I just like to tell everybody what's going on. We're here, episode 55. We've got Tony, we've got Mike, and we've got the great Paul Paps. That was my headphones, by the way. The great Paul Paps. How the hell are you?
I'm good. That was a lovely intro. I'm really glowing.
I don't like to go into. We just like to start and go. You
Okay.
know?
Yeah. Good. Yeah.
But-
Give the guests no heads up that you're recording. I love it.
Yeah. Just get right into it.
Well,
You know?
I did say we were recording, I think, right? Didn't I say that?
Yeah, you did.
Yeah.
But it's organic. We were already in the flow.
You guys started recording before I got out of my car. I was like, oh, let me get my water bottle. Oh, here's
True.
Renee with
True.
the camera right in my face.
Yeah.
I thought it was TMZ when they get you at the airport.
We make people
I like
understand
it.
the camera is rolling.
Make the guest a little uncomfortable. It's like the Howard Stern show. I like it.
Exactly. Yeah.
Exactly.
That's what Thornstead, I think, too.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah. If a guest is, eventually you want to get them comfortable, so they say things they weren't planning to say.
Exactly.
Right off the bat,
Right.
you want to throw them off kilter.
Yeah. And we always bring the good vibes and good energy here. You guys know that. But Paul Paps to us is now a friend. But he started off as a teacher and a mentor. And I'll say this, being here right now, because, you know, you listen to your teachers, there's, pros and cons to going to, school. But if you're going to school and you want to go to school, you're choosing, especially if you're going to your master's, you guys said this, you're choosing to be there. So if you're choosing to be there, make the most out of it. And you always, throughout my whole year there, whenever I would see you, we'd always just sprinkle a little bit more motivation here and here and here and here.
Well,
so thank you for that. I've always wanted to say thank you, so I get to finally do that on air.
Oh, you're welcome. Just a little background. I'm a teacher at Sacred Heart University, and I had you guys both in class. Anthony, I think I had you both undergraduate and grad, correct?
Yeah.
And you were
just graduate.
Of course. I'll tell you this. You specifically, Mike, you're like a wild racehorse that just needs to be controlled. I can remember our first class together. You were sitting in back. Your hair was perfect. You're looking good. The tan was good. You were ready to go. You look like you're going to hit the club about 8 minutes after class. And I don't know what exactly I was talking about. I was talking about the state of the sports media. And you just hand up like 8 minutes in. I think you're the first hand up in my class. And you said, you know what, professor, esports, that's where it's at. You got to look into that. You got to look into that. Like, I got this kid in class at 8 minutes in, he's telling me what I got to do, which I both is like disturbing, and I respect it, because the people who speak up usually in this industry are the people who go places. And so all during your time there, you were always full of energy, ready to go, lots of ideas, lots of thoughts, which is great. You're the kind of guy, though, who not reel you in, because that's a bad thing, but just like you remember
harness the energy, like focus it.
Remember the scene in Apollo 13 where they're trying to control the spacecraft and they got to get it in the window, point it back towards Earth? That's me. I'm just trying to point you back towards Earth, because once you get to the landing spot, you're going to have a great career. You're already having a great career.
Thanks.
And Anthony, I remember you in my class, because you're one of those guys who, looks wise, you're not sure what to make of.
Oh
You
my
kind of
God.
sit there with the stash and like it'll be 42 degrees out and you're wearing shorts and
Yes.
flip flops. and I sit there looking at you the first day in class, and I try to guess what people are like by looking at them, which is not what you're supposed to do, but I kind of like challenge myself to see what's this guy all about. And at first I thought you were one of those guys who's going to sit there and not say a word the whole semester, because you didn't say a word, I think, day one. But then you open up and have fun. But I also like, there's an old reference, a little bit of a Eddie Haskell. That's a term from the way back days before my time, from Leave It to Beaver. the guy who's a nice kid, but you think is being a total snarky smartass to you in their head.
Oh yeah.
Tony.
Oh yeah.
I call him Anthony. I know you guys call him Tony.
We call him everything.
Anthony would always like, "Hey, Professor, how are you doing? Those are nice shoes." And I'm like, I think he's making fun of me.
I know.
I'm pretty sure he's making fun of my shoes, but he's complimenting me. So I'll take it and hey, thank you. So
he always gets that.
That's the State of the Union on my first vibe of you two guys.
That's awesome.
That's pretty spot on.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can read.
Renee's coming in. She wants to say something.
Renee, what do you think of that?
She'll come in.
All I have to say is I feel like you may know them longer than I have.
Yeah, I have.
Obviously.
Yeah, you have, obviously. I feel like I've only known you guys for 2 years, but from that first impression, you guys are that's like them to a T from my
Well, most of the times people are just like their first impression because that's what they are, and you learn more about them. But it is funny that I've had a thing in my past where I'll meet someone and I'll not like them based off the first impression, and it's completely wrong because I think, oh, that guy's cocky, and I'm like, nah, he's actually cool. He's just a bit cocky as well, and vice versa. I'm like, that person seems awesome, and then you find out they're kind of full of shit later. And I can swear on the podcast.
And we're fine. We're 18 plus. We advertise that.
So it is interesting as a teacher with your students. You know, I'm from a generation before you guys. I could still try to kind of like read and see what your backstory is just on face value.
Nice. I love it. But I love that you're here.
So a good spot. You guys got a great building here. Great spot. You know, a nice gritty area. Men of the people. I like it.
Yeah, exactly. Not above but equal. Right? Like that. J. Cole. Yeah, so I know some of your story, Walter Payton.
Oh yeah.
We'll get into it.
Yeah.
Chicago.
Yep.
So tell us, like, growing up in Chicago, what that's like. What was that like for you?
All right, I'll try to give you the summary. I was born on the south side of Chicago, 104th Street. We moved to the south suburbs when I was about 5. My dad was an iron worker. You know, I have an older sister. You know, I grew up Chicago Bears fan, Cubs, Sox, a little bit of everything. I went to Marian Catholic High School, nice school south of Chicago, and then to Southern Illinois University. But as far as my media career, I would say this: the influences on me were talk radio in Chicago back in the 80s. There was guys like Jonathan Brandmeier and these different people, and Steve Dahl and Gary Meyer. And I used to listen to them on the radio, WLUP and WLS. There was a guy named Larry Lujak, who's very old school. But I'm talking when I was 8, 9, 10, 11, not 15. And I had this little cheap sound design stereo in my room that my parents got me. And I would put it on like a half volume just so I could hear it. I put my head against the speakers. And I'd be entertained by these guys at 10 at night when I'm supposed to be asleep. And they weren't sports guys. They were like more comedy type guys. And those were my first like heroes of media. And then I think I was probably 13 years old and I discovered David Letterman. And that's it for me. That's my guy all time. And it's funny because he's not a sports guy, even though he likes sports.
Yeah.
I ended up being like a sports media person, but David Letterman to me was kind of, and still is, you know, the end all be all for media for me. There's other people that I admire like Howard Stern and, you know, the guy I worked with, Dan Patrick. I grew up on him in college. But Letterman to me, he didn't look the part. He had the gap in his teeth. He wore like wrestling sneakers with a double-breasted suit.
Wow.
You know, he was a guy from Indiana who had no business on national TV, but he was snarky and funny and difficult and entertaining.
Yeah.
And it's not like I wanted to be David Letterman. I was like, you know what? I just want to be in that neck of the woods.
Yeah.
You know, everyone doesn't have to be Johnny Carson or David Letterman or Bob Costas.
Yeah.
But I just like, I want to be on work in media and make jokes and have fun and talk some sports, talk some other stuff. And
yeah,
that's kind of how it all started for me.
Wow. That's pretty sick, huh, Tony?
Yeah, that's great.
I mean,
He wasn't listening.
David Letterman.
Tony wasn't listening.
Oh, that was.
No, he's in. He's lasered in.
I'm just kidding.
No, he's lasered in.
No, it's funny because my mom was a huge David Letterman fan,
Sure.
and she used to tell me like stories when he was young,
Mhm.
and you know, doing the Tonight Show because obviously, you know, when I was in high school, I
Tony's
watched
funny.
him.
Yeah.
But obviously, I'm a funny guy. I can recognize humor.
Right. Yes.
No, but like I used to be a big David Letterman fan growing up as well. My mom was like, "You should see when he was younger. He was doing like physical comedy because he was younger, he could move."
Exactly. He
you
did
know,
these
like-
things like throwing stuff off a 5-story tower, or he jumped into a tub of water with a suit made of Alka-Seltzer. So when, you know, like this, because he was in his 30s or early 30s.
Wow.
And I'll give you a good story. I work with Dan Patrick, and he's been on Letterman a few times. And so twice I've been able to go. You don't get to meet Letterman. It's not
Really?
happening. That dream,
Dang.
that ship has sailed.
Yeah.
You're never going to meet Letterman. He doesn't even go talk to you before or after the show. You meet him
when you go on the show,
and then when you leave, that's the last time you see him,
Wow.
unless you're like maybe Julia Roberts or someone. Yeah, But so when I was in high school, and the good thing is, so David Letterman's last week on air, I knew one of his producers, a guy named Brian Tetta. He is one of the segment producers, and he would call me to get Dan Patrick on the show. And he's a sports guy, so we trade notes and stuff. And I sent him this thing from my high school. So I went to a Catholic high school in the South Side of Chicago, and it was run by mostly religious types like nuns and priests, and then there was lay people who were also your teachers. My sophomore year, I started really watching David Letterman, and I think the show started at 11:30 Central Time. That's pretty late. I had to be at school at 7:15 in class, so I was up till 12:30 at night. Age 14, and then I get done watching Letterman. Again, you couldn't tape it back then. That's how dated this is.
Yeah.
And I would watch Letterman. I'd get up for school. I'd be a wreck.
Yeah, I bet.
I'd be just dragging through school. And then we had this, we had study hall. And in study hall, you had to study. You either had to be reading, writing, doing homework. You couldn't sleep in study hall. It was a relatively strict school. I would put my head down and hide behind. I would find the biggest kid in our class. I can't remember his name, but I would get behind him in study hall. He was like 300 pounds, and I try to like hide from the teachers.
Yeah.
And it worked a lot, but I would sleep. And then the teachers would yell at me. And eventually I started getting detentions. And they said, every time you're caught sleeping in study hall, you get detention. I got one a week. So I would say definitely once a week.
You got to meet David Letterman.
I don't want to waste his time. I don't want to bother.
It's going to
David.
happen one day.
If he's pulled over and he needs a tire change, I'll be there for him. But
yeah, exactly.
So I would get detentions all the time. And finally they sent they brought me to the office, and I had to meet with the principal, who was a nun, by the way. Very nice lady. But she goes, Paul, you're a decent student. You're not a troublemaker. I wasn't. I was kind of like a C+ student who didn't cause a lot of trouble. I got along with people. She goes, why do you have 20 detentions this year? For, eventually, eventually when you get to a certain number, I have to suspend you. They have rules in this Catholic high school. And I said to a nun, can you imagine a 14-year-old boy talking to a nun? I go, Sister Juthan. She goes, why are you up so late? Because she asked why. I go, well, I'm up to 12:30 every night. She goes, doing homework? Are you having trouble with your studies? I'm like, I couldn't lie to a nun. And I said, I'm watching David Letterman. She goes, what's that? She has no idea. She's 67 years old or whatever she is.
Yeah.
I go, it's a comedy night show. It's like Johnny Carson. She knows who Johnny Carson is, but David Letterman was newer.
Mm-hmm.
And she goes, well, I'm going to have to ask you to not watch that show. You got to go to bed at a good hour. I go, I can't do that. I go, I'm going to watch that show. It's that important to me. I go, that's what I want to do. Stuff like that.
Yeah.
I go, I like algebra, but no, I don't like algebra.
Yeah.
Told her the story. So she writes a letter home to my mother, and it's on like Marian Catholic letterhead, and it's handwritten. Mrs. Pabst, I have to talk to you about your son and concerned about his future at Marian Catholic. He's built up all these detentions. He falls asleep. He watches some show called The David Letterman Show, and he says he will not stop watching. And there's, he'd rather take the detentions to watch a show. That's a long time ago, right? So that goes home with my mom. Eventually, we worked out kind of a deal where I would go to the library during study hall and read sports stuff, and it worked out.
There you go.
That sounds awesome.
Well, here's the payoff of the story. David Letterman is getting ready to retire. This is about 5-6 years ago, I think he retired. And I asked my mom to send. I go, do you still have the note from school? Because she saved it. I asked her to save it. And so I took a copy of it. I had it copied. And I said, for Dave. And I gave it to Brian Tetta, the segment producer on the David Letterman Show. And I said, I don't want anything from Dave. I don't want an autograph. I don't want a picture. I want nothing. He's given me so much. I want to send this to him. I go, if you can, would you put this on his desk one day and maybe convince him to read it? Busy guy, probably gets a lot of stuff. And so Brian's a good guy. And Brian goes, I'll do this. He read it. He goes, this is awesome. And he goes, this is so fantastic. I'm going to give it to Dave. I get a call a couple of days later from Brian, the segment producer on Letterman. He goes, Paul, I gave it to Dave. He looked at it. He goes, what is this? He goes, this is Paul. He's the producer for Dan Patrick. He knows who Dan is. He doesn't know who I am, but it's okay. Dave sits there for 3 minutes and reads it. He reads it, and he has put his glasses on, and he reads it, and he's got this is what Brian told me. He goes, he's got this crouched look on his face, like crunched up. And then at the end, his face just started grinning, huge, like this huge grin. And Dave, he looks at me. This is Brian talking. He goes, Dave looks at me and says, who is this again? He goes, Paul Pabst. He's the producer of the Dan Patrick Show. He hands it back. He goes, tell him this is fucking awesome. And man, I will dine out on that moment forever. But that, I think, in a nutshell, if you wanted to explain my background, that's it.
Yeah.
I never thought
I mean,
about
that's the best way to do it.
I never thought about doing anything else.
Speechless.
I think in our classes, we talked about what you guys are doing right now is so super cool. You should do it the rest of your lives.
We're trying.
And if it becomes $1 billion thing, great.
Yeah.
If it becomes a bunch of dudes hanging out, having a great time in East Bridgeport, that's fine too.
Yeah.
Because it will work out.
Yeah.
And we talked about, you bartended.
Yeah.
If you have to bartend to keep this stuff going, that's smart business to me.
I know.
So that's
we're past that, thankfully. But yeah, I've always kept that in mind as a backup.
Oh, I bartended all the time.
Yeah. Yeah. No.
So I know there's a long story, but I wanted to summarize it in one shot.
No, it was great. Tony, you had a question for him. I remember you saying to me specifically.
Yeah, I had a couple questions.
Yeah.
I guess my first one was actually about how you kind of started teaching with specifically SCM. Honestly, I want to know how. I know, obviously, I've heard Professor Thorne's backstory with Miller and everything, but how did you kind of get involved with Sacred Heart to start?
I went to college at Southern Illinois University, and I had good and bad professors, and the good ones really stuck out. And I always knew I wanted to teach someday, so I took, I think, 2 or 3 kind of. I didn't get my degree in teaching or certification, but I took a few teaching classes, so I'd have a baseline.
Yeah.
And I said to myself, once I get into this industry and I achieve whatever level of success, I would like to teach someday because I think I could give back a little bit. And I think I know what the difference is between a good and average professor, or whatever you want to say.
Right.
And I reached out a long time ago. This is 12 years ago to Fairfield University. And I pitched them because I knew Fairfield because I lived right down the street. I really didn't know Sacred Heart. I'd heard of it, but I didn't drive by it a lot. It's just in that little corner where you don't drive by.
Yep.
And I reached out to Fairfield University and I emailed them and they said, we'd love to have you as an adjunct teacher. I used my, whatever from the Dan Patrick Show to get in there. They said, and I taught for 1 semester at Fairfield, a sports media class. I pitched them an idea on a sports media program. I said, we're in the perfect spot. We're between ESPN. You guys have heard this out of my mouth 100 times. And they said, they ran it past the higher ups at Fairfield University. And they're like, we don't really think there's a market for that. I'm like, really? Sports media? I go, most young men and women in this America, a lot of women too, want to work in sports. And that's the dream. And I go, you don't think there's a market for a major or a master's program? They're like, we don't think so. I'm like, we're right down the street from ESPN and NBC. They didn't see it. I Googled Sacred Heart University. I Googled the communications department. The first name I saw, alphabetical order, Andrew Miller. I emailed him. He goes, come on in tomorrow. We wrapped it up in 2 hours. He goes, why don't you start teaching here next semester and we'll start building a sports media program. He goes, I love it. I think it's great. He goes, let me introduce you to this guy, Brian Thorne. He's one of our new guys. He was an undergraduate here, and let's put this together. We ran it past the people at Sacred Heart, the higher ups that have to approve everything, and they're all sports guys. Some of the higher ups there. There's a gentleman named Jim Barcanero, and then the president of the school. I think he played baseball at Seton Hall, from what I remember, President Patillo. And they're all sports people. They approved it in 10 seconds, and there it went.
Yeah,
that's it.
So that's great.
I love that Fairfield passed it up.
I know.
Too. That's awesome.
And then here's the kicker.
Yeah.
Fairfield, 8 years later, develops their own sports media program. 8 years after we kind of got started with ours. It's a good school. I'm sure it's a good program, but they're 7-8 years behind what we're doing.
Yeah, no, it's ridiculous. The program at SHU is just lovely.
It's a good program.
But yeah, I love that. I'm glad we know that. I want to backtrack though, and then because I know a decent amount of the story, but your story is great, and what you did, the sacrifices you made early on.
I wouldn't call it sacrifices. I bartended so I could
but
work
even
in sports media.
Even
I wasn't loading trucks.
The story of you with your brother-in-law's car and it broke down.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Getting from Chicago to the Northeast, basically.
Well, I think that's one thing as a teacher or whatever you want to say, or a person in sports media. When you're in college, I think you're like, man, someday I would love to do this. There's some type of path there, and you have to just find it and stay with it. And if you'd have told me in college I'd be producing the Dan Patrick Show, I would have said, how is that going to happen? I wouldn't have said, no way that can happen. I would have said, how the hell is that going to happen? I'm in Carbondale, Illinois, down, surrounded by cornfields. And Dan Patrick came down there to broadcast games, and I'm a big fan of his. And then you fast forward, after I graduated, I think 9 years later, I'm producing his show. And sometimes I think back, I'm like, I don't know how that happened exactly. But, you pick your course and say, it's going to happen. And
right.
Just how do we get there? How do I get, it's like getting lost. And when you're driving, you figure it out if you can.
Yeah.
But working with Dan, kind of came about when I interviewed at ESPN. I got a job at ESPN. I worked for College Game Day and radio and ESPN Network Radio for NFL. And then one day, Dan Patrick needed a new producer. I've told you guys this before, but I knew his old producer. He recommended me, and all of a sudden I'm in the hallway, and I kind of knew it was coming because his old producer goes, "I think Dan's going to pull you aside today and see if you're interested in producing his radio show." And I mean, my head was spinning all day. I mean, the idea of that,
And this is how far into Dan's career
this
was
is,
it? Was he
this
already
is-
doing radio or?
Yeah,
only,
he was
or
2 years into his radio show
Okay,
at
cool.
ESPN Network Radio, 2 or 3
yeah,
years.
it's pretty
He had one of the
early.
biggest radio shows in America. Mike
Yep.
and Mike in the morning, Tony
Yep.
Kornheiser, Dan Patrick, ESPN Network Radio. This is June of 2002. And it's a long time ago. But at that age, I remember thinking Dan Patrick might come up to me today and broach the idea of working together. And it was a reality, and he walked up, we started talking. We found out we live in the same town, Milford, Connecticut. His house was quite nicer than mine, as you can imagine. my house was about the size of this room without windows. And, but 2 days later, I'm working with Dan Patrick producing his show. There's a lot more to the story, and it's not that unbelievable story, but it was pretty surreal at the time. Because I remember watching him in college every single night, not figuratively every single night, but literally. I hate using that word literally. I hate that word.
Yeah,
But I
know.
watched SportsCenter with Dan Patrick every time I could, and I watched the replay over and over. So,
Right.
That's one of the cool things about my job is I try to never forget that this is what you want at Home Slice.
Right. Yeah.
don't-
Exactly.
Don't
Late
F it
nights-
up.
Yeah, exactly. Usually that's how I always late nights editing or whatever. I'll just look around the room and be like,
We want to be selling insurance.
Yeah, yeah.
I could be selling insurance.
Yeah. This is
Right.
a
You're,
dream.
you're grown now. If you're selling insurance, Anthony, you can't wear that out.
I'm
But
very well aware of that.
how many times in our class would I come right from work and I'm
Yes.
wearing like
Yeah.
a Bears shirt?
I love their studio, by the way. Oh, it's the best.
The Dan Patrick studio is like, it's a little bigger than this. But it's basically the same concept.
Yeah,
it's it's an old warehouse.
I love it.
That was for industrial equipment that Dan bought and
Cool.
made it into kind of a bro paradise.
Yeah, I
I know.
haven't been to the new
I haven't
one
been
yet.
there either. I've seen it.
Yeah.
I've actually, obviously seen YouTube.
I've heard
videos.
stories from Mario.
This is
Yeah.
where they're trying to get the invite, like pressure me.
No, not at all.
This is
Not
a
at
classic
all.
media movie.
No way.
I just want to let you know what's happening here. I haven't been invited yet.
No, yeah, yeah.
I would very much enjoy to go.
We do. We do
I'd
have
love
a
to
show.
have you over there.
We do have a show called Where is DTV Now, and
Right.
and it's like us behind. It's like very raw and organic. It's like vloggy, and it's us like Salem. We went to Salem the weekend
Yeah.
of Halloween, and Tony dressed up as Mario, did trivia, asking people questions. It was great. So we would definitely love that. I would love that.
I mean, someday if things work out,
Yeah.
maybe.
Yeah.
No, I'm sure it's going to happen. See, if I was Foe, I would say, guys, I would love to have you over.
Yeah,
Let's do it soon.
of course.
And then I would never call you back.
Exactly.
But instead, I'll say, we'll work on it.
You know what I tell people if they don't know who you are? I'll say he's a part of the Dan Patrick show, and then I go, he's Shaq's favorite Danette.
Well, there's this thing. Shaquille O'Neal comes on our show sometimes, and he's a joker. I mean, he jokes with everybody at all times. And he always says, "How you doing, McLovin?" And there's another guy on the show, used to be on the show, called McLovin on the Dan Patrick show, he's like 6'4" and has glasses. He doesn't look anything like me. But he always walks up and he goes, "Hey, McLovin." But then he tells me, he goes, "I know your name's Paul." And,
Yeah.
and it's a total joke.
Yeah.
But seeing Shaquille O'Neal in person, by the way, is one of the surreal parts of your job because you expect Shaquille O'Neal to be that presence.
Yeah.
And it's more than you bargained for.
Yeah.
You're like, well, he's real.
Yeah.
He's a real person.
Yeah.
He's
I've only seen him on the life size poster things. You know what I mean? Like,
oh, that's
you
a
know what I'm
real
talking
to
about?
scale.
Yeah.
But that's pretty surreal to see him in person.
Yeah. No, I've always thought it was cool, like just the industry of sports media that you get, especially doing it in a radio show setting,
Mhm.
like how you guys do it is probably the most ideal, in my opinion, because you guys get to travel if you want.
Right.
Like I'm sure you guys get invited to stuff all the time, sporting events and blah, blah, and could make things happen now at this point. But you guys have done all that. And you guys have a home base where you guys get to just make fun content all the time.
Yeah, I think the great part about the Dan Patrick show is a radio show on TV. It's not a TV show that's simulcast on radio.
Mhm.
Dan has the freedom to take a guest 8 minutes or 18 minutes or
Mhm.
28 minutes. On TV, let's say Jimmy Fallon has a really good guest. Let's say it's Paul Rudd on. That segment's 8 minutes.
Mhm.
And then they're going to break. And
Yeah.
then they've got Scarlett Johansson's next, and so you have room to breathe, room to move, and it's interesting. Sometimes we'll do interviews with people, and we think we're going to start one way, and it goes completely the opposite way in a good way. And like there's athletes we've had on before, and I could probably go through 100 of them, but like Dale Earnhardt Jr., he's a famous NASCAR driver, and I think everyone knows his father passed away driving in right behind Dale, like in his rearview mirror. His dad died blocking for him. It's one of the most surreal sports stories there is. And we've developed a relationship with Dale Earnhardt Jr., and Dan asked some questions that I don't think another media person would have, I wouldn't say the guts to do, but be comfortable asking about his father. And I don't know if Dale would share them. And it's funny because Dan's not a NASCAR guy. He knows the sport a little bit, but that's not what he grew up on. I'm more of a NASCAR guy. But he'll say to Dale Earnhardt Jr., like, tell me something about your dad I've never heard before. And I think that's such a great question. I remember Dan said that to Dale Earnhardt Jr., and I was like, oh, man. He goes, I became a race car driver to get his attention because I didn't want to be a race car driver. He goes, oh, that's you're telling me something about you. He goes, oh, yeah, I guess it is about me. And Dan goes, what do you mean? He goes, well, when I was like 15, he goes, my dad was out driving. He was the most popular driver in our country. Household name, Dale Earnhardt Sr. Beyond a household name. A hero.
Like Michael Jordan.
In the NASCAR world, he's exactly Michael Jordan.
I mean, he broke through the NASCAR just fandom.
People tattoo his image on their body, a lot of people. And so Dale Earnhardt Jr. told us a story about like his house burning down when he was a kid and his dad not being there. And then his dad would come in and grab a beer and then fall asleep in the chair, and they get like 3 minutes with him a night. And it was very emotional. And he goes, I started racing because I knew if I went to the track, I could hang with my dad. If I went to the garage, I could hang with my dad. He goes, I didn't especially want to be a NASCAR driver because I wanted to play soccer on my high school soccer team. Like Dale Earnhardt Jr. wanted to play soccer. He goes, yeah, I like soccer. I like running around with my friends. He goes, I like drinking beer and listen to music. He goes, I probably would have done music. And he goes, but if I want to spend time with my dad, I had to go to a racetrack or a garage. And I'm like, wow, I never heard that before. And he goes, well, no one's ever asked. No one's ever asked.
Yeah.
Right. Those are the best moments on the show is when you get something out of someone, and you don't have to be a fan of NASCAR to be entertained by that.
Yeah, of course.
In my opinion.
Yeah, and that's the beauty of radio. Like our favorite guys on radio, because I think it's honestly, I'm not gonna lie, I think a lot of ESPN radio and all that stuff, that whole thing is so gimmicky.
Yeah.
It's actually turned me off since I was like 15 years old.
It's a little. Sometimes it can be formatted a little bit.
It's just too it's just too blah. Like I know what you guys are doing, but I don't know if you've ever listened. They're on early at 5 a.m. But Rick DiPietro and Dave Rothenberg show, is literally ridiculous. They are Dave Rothenberg. Have you ever met him?
No.
He is. I don't know how to explain him. He reminds me of our guy Barnes, so I guess I kind of know what he's like.
So what time of day? I've heard the show, but what time? They're
5 to 8.
5 to 8.
So when you have a show that's off hours like that, sometimes you get away with stuff.
Oh yeah,
you could try stuff out and be more.
Oh yeah,
yeah. Like if you're doing a show, I would say from midnight to 6 a.m.
Yeah,
you can do a lot of fun stuff.
I'm just saying for ESPN, I'm just talking about them in general because I only really listen to 98.7. I'll be honest, Michael Kay and Don LaGreca got me into sports radio.
Yeah, I know Michael real well. He's a good dude.
Yeah, they got me in. I just randomly turned the radio dial, searching for music, and then it was just I'm listening to these guys, and I'm like, whoa,
yeah,
like this is way better than anything on right now. Like, and it just they know that's all we listen to.
Some interviews that really stand out to me that on our show where you go back when Kobe Bryant passed away a couple 2.5 years ago. We were down in Miami for the Super Bowl. He passed away on a Sunday morning, the helicopter crash. And we all met that day, and we realized the Super Bowl week of shows for the Dan Patrick Show is like a celebration of football.
Yeah,
it's Michael Irvin's coming in.
Yeah,
Will
you guys
Ferrell,
do crazy stuff,
crazy fun stuff, and all of a sudden you have this horrendous story, the worst story you could have.
Oh, it's so bad,
and it's unbelievable because Kobe Bryant is one of the most alive people I've ever covered.
Did you ever get to meet him or anything?
A couple in person once, but on the phone a few times.
Wow,
but that's what's interesting. You can learn so much about some of these athletes just in the moments on the phone with them. And one of my jobs on the Dan Patrick Show is to sometimes pick up the phone when someone calls in on the hotline. And I can remember once Kobe called in and I go, Dan Patrick, we knew he was calling in. And so I see the number and it's his number. It's a 310 or whatever it was. And I go, Dan Patrick Show, this is Paul. He goes, and I hear like he's eating cereal. I hear crunching. He goes, Paul Kobe. And his, that deep voice goes, Paul Kobe. I go, hey, Kobe, how you doing? He goes, good. I go, breakfast? He goes, oh, yeah. I go, cereal? He goes, yep. Everything's real back. I go, all right, how about this? If I can guess the cereal you're eating, you send me an autographed jersey. I had to kill like a minute and a half because he called early, and you'll do as a producer.
Shut
You'll,
the front door.
And I was just like, what the heck? I was just having fun with the guy. How
Yeah.
often do you get to talk to Kobe Bryant? He goes,
Yeah.
I like that. I like
Yeah.
it. I go, give me one more crunch. And all of a sudden he takes a big scoop of cereal. Sorry to mess up your mics here.
No, it's so
it was like
funny.
this big over the done crunch. I'm like, he goes, one guess. His
Yeah.
the deep Kobe voice.
Yeah, of course.
He
Dude.
goes,
Yeah, go.
one guess. I go, peanut butter Captain Crunch. He goes, oh man, you were so close. And his voice raised up. And it's like 5 a.m. or no, it's probably 6 a.m. in California. He goes, that's my second favorite cereal of all time. He goes, cinnamon toast crunch. I go, cinnamon toast crunch. I go, that's not healthy. He goes, it's my cheat food, man. Don't tell anybody it's my cheat food. He goes, I have like 3 scoops and a little bit of milk. He goes, but I won't eat a whole bowl. And he goes, I may send you a jersey anyway, just because you're so close.
Wow.
He goes, when I was a kid, peanut butter Captain Crunch was my favorite. I'm like, mine too. And it was the weirdest, most normal conversation with just one of the biggest athletes on earth.
Yeah, favorite hooper.
So the other
hands
thing
down.
I wanted to mention is when Kobe Bryant passed away, we were just discussing how do we cover this tomorrow? This is Monday of Super Bowl week. And again, we're not trying to be uncaring, but you got to cover the story fairly to cover Kobe, what he meant, what happened to those people, everything. And it's a quandary because you're also trying to celebrate Super Bowl week and you have all these guests set and you have to make decisions. And so it's one of those where you go to bed at night, you're like, I'm not looking forward to tomorrow's show. First of all, that this guy and all those people died and his daughter. And you're like, I just wish this wasn't happening, but you have to cover it. You don't have a choice as a journalist or a reporter, or whatever you want to call it. And so I went back and it was like midnight and I found the last interview we did with Kobe Bryant, probably a year and a half before he passed away. Remember he won an Oscar for Love of Basketball?
Yeah, I love that.
Was
Yeah.
it?
Yes.
Love and Basketball.
It was a cartoon.
Yeah.
Short film.
Yeah.
It's dope.
And so we had him on the day after he won and he was excited to talk about it.
Yeah.
Dan asked me, he goes, if I told you when you're 15, you'd have an Oscar and NBA MVP. He goes, I probably would have said, I don't know what I would have said. He goes, I was not that into basketball at 14 yet. I was getting there. He goes, but I liked other sports. He goes, I like movies. But then when I went back and looked at the interview, in the middle of the interview, Dan asked him something because he's retired for a couple of years at this point. He goes, would you ever be a coach? He goes, I am a coach. He goes, you are? He goes, yeah, I coach my daughter's team. He goes, I didn't know that. He goes, oh, yeah, Dan. He goes, I'm every morning, every night. He goes, I'm at practice. He goes, I haven't missed a practice yet. He goes, I've got a pretty busy schedule.
Mm-hmm.
He goes, how old's your daughter? He goes, she's 11. He goes, how's the team? He goes, they're good. He goes, and Dan goes, I could picture you coaching. He goes, are you as intense? He goes, oh, I'm more intense.
Yeah.
He goes, I'm doing the pick and rolls. He goes, I'm telling them where to put their elbows. He goes, and my daughter, he goes, how's your daughter? He goes, Dan. He goes, Dan. Like
Yeah.
he just paused, like you have no idea what's coming.
Yeah.
And he goes, what? He goes, is she a little you? He goes, she's little me. She got her tongue out. She's got a scowl on her face. She's angry during practice. She wants to stay late, get up early. He goes, she wakes me up at 4:15 in the morning, says, Dad, let's get some shots up.
Wow.
And now he goes, I'm downstairs and I'm just sitting there like, oh. But Dan and I talked about that the next morning. And I go, why don't we just play the entire Kobe Bryant interview from the last time we had him on? He could tell the story of him way better than we could tell the story of him.
Yeah.
And Dan set it up and he goes, this is the last time when we played it. And people were just like, especially our affiliate in Los Angeles were like, oh my gosh. But I think it was the right call because there's no right way to cover when someone dies way too early in a helicopter crash. And we try to do our best. So
I know.
That was one of those that
crazy.
stand out to me.
Kobe's the best. We have that's our mindset, Mamba mentality here at Downtime. We know that. He's literally my mom's favorite basketball player. I've seen him play live with Jeremy Lin.
Oh wow.
On the team. My mom's 2 favorite basketball players. Can you believe that?
Yeah.
Jeremy Lin and Kobe Bryant. Because she loved Jeremy Lin's
Lin
story.
was a big deal.
And Kobe, she just loved Kobe. She just his work ethic and how he played the game.
Yeah.
But that's epic. Wow. That's awesome. That you get to, have those moments. And those are the moments you get in such a cool field too.
It's fun. I got a question for Anthony. You played rugby, club rugby, right?
Yeah. He was the coach this past year.
I can make the case that rugby might be the roughest sport there is. And and I'm complimenting your sport. Like I've never played high. I played rugby for like 10 minutes once and I was like, get the hell out of here, man. And I don't consider myself a total wimp, but like hockey's a very tough sport. But there's a lot more padding. Football is obviously tough. Basketball, baseball, soccer, they have their moments, but I don't know if there's a rougher sport than
Maybe boxing and MMA.
Well, MMA, the purpose is to knock you out. In rugby, you
There's
never
a
say,
sport,
"Hey guys,
like,
we're going to
yeah,
knock
yeah,
out
like-
number 27 over there."
Yeah.
Right.
It's a byproduct of what you do.
Yeah.
And I think the rugby might be the roughest.
Yeah, I've played, I would say, most sports. Yeah.
Tony's a supreme athlete. If you
No,
didn't
no,
know.
no. I wasn't great at every sport, just a couple. But yeah, rugby was definitely up there in terms of obviously physicality. But I don't know. I played hockey for a quick second, and I wasn't really good at it when I was a kid, so I didn't play for very long. But to me, I feel like hockey involves a little bit more skill.
Oh yeah.
Than just
He's just saying roughness wise.
Just brutality on your body. press conference. And so we're not doing much. We're just going, Mr. President, yelling out. And it's just an excuse to stick us dopes in the movie.
Yeah.
But I can remember they were placing us in the crowd. So you could either be in the front row or in the second row or in the third row. And I stood next to Dan Patrick because he's the big guy.
Yeah.
And I go, where are you sitting, Dan? He goes, I'm in row 3. I'm like, I'll sit next to you.
Yeah.
Because if you sit next to Dan Patrick, you're
You're
going to
gonna be in
share
it.
some camera time.
Yeah.
And I was sitting there, and it's so cheesy and hokey and embarrassing. But like, so where Anthony is where the camera is.
Yeah.
Where Dan is standing up because he's like, Mr. President, I would like to ask you a question. And Dan's doing his bit. I kind of stretched my body like this to make sure I was as close to Dan's right arm.
Yeah.
And if you look at it, you could see my like chin from my face from the chin up. It's so bad and embarrassing, but like it was a fun experience.
That's hilarious. I love it. What's your favorite part of your studio? I know it's out of left field, but I was just thinking.
I like the fact that we have a grilling area.
I knew it. I was gonna say the same thing.
Other places might have a basketball court or a bar and stuff like that, but like on Fridays we grill and we sit out, we chill, and we have a beer, we eat some brats or whatever, and all the guys on the show have like even 20 or 30 minutes of like just hangout time before, and we don't talk work at all. We talk about like what's on TV or what's on, what are you gonna do tonight, or what I got to get new tires for my car, or whatever. Dopey stuff.
Life.
And then you go home, you're like, day is over. I had a beer. I had some wings. I'm going to go take a nap. We had a good week.
Yeah.
And then you enjoy your weekend and you just enjoy it. And I don't know, it's good for morale.
Yeah. I love that. I love that. We need a toaster in here.
Let's get a hot plate. Get a hot plate in here.
I know. I've been saying
Need a toaster.
I've been saying it.
The George Foreman grill.
That's for our go. We're big outdoors people, so we just got like an 8-person camping tent.
Oh, that's
and
cool.
we like it's sick.
Have you used it yet?
Oh yeah,
like 4 times.
I don't know.
We were just on the
4
beach.
times.
Renee, tell them about the beach.
About the whole experience.
I mean that day was epic. It was all 3 of us
The whole
and
day,
Matt.
we were at South Pine Creek Beach
Yeah.
in Fairfield, and we go down to the end by the private beaches, but it's our private beach.
Yeah,
nice.
We made it ours.
That's how downtown
Mike made it
rolls.
there
Yeah.
from a young age, and we put up the tent.
I've been going there my whole life. I grew up right on South Pine.
Okay.
So I know this is our turf, brah.
Yeah. So we put the tent up, and we have a portable power source thing. So that day specifically, I think it was last weekend. It was last weekend on Saturday. Beautiful day. We had umbrella outside the tent with 2 chairs, towels everywhere. You can be inside the tent doing some work. Then I'm gonna go outside.
Has
go to the tan a
windows
little
for
bit,
breeze,
play
good
around,
airflow.
go for a walk,
Has a
come back,
roof.
do work.
It's crazy.
That was an awesome office.
That's a good day. And you're that's
we were working too. Yeah, it was dope.
That's the cool thing. Again, if you work anywhere in the sports media, you have some of those days where you're just sitting there like, we did the show a couple of years ago, 3 years in a row. We worked for DirecTV, which is owned by AT&T, and 3 years in a row they had us broadcast our show live from Pebble Beach, which is on the coast of Carmel, California. It's you couldn't make a more beautiful place.
Yeah.
And it's the Pebble Beach Pro-Am, and all the big golfers are there and the celebrities are there. And our show starts at 6 a.m. local time, so we got to be up early. Wake up calls 3:45, on set by 4-ish, and live at 6 a.m. That's a punch in the face. That 3:45 a.m. wake up call.
Yeah.
But once you get there, you're at Pebble Beach and it's dark, but you have the lights of the set. And then around 6:45, here comes the sun. And it's coming up behind the practice range at Pebble Beach, and there's Nick Faldo and there's Justin Timberlake warming up, and then here comes Clint Eastwood on the set.
Wow.
And you think to yourself, there's not a better place on earth than where we're sitting right now. And you don't get those every day. Most of it's the daily grind of doing a sports show.
Yeah.
But it was as a kid, I used to watch Pebble Beach Pro-Am on TV, and I'm like, well, I could never afford to play around. I still can't afford to play around at Pebble Beach.
Yeah.
But we got to be there for 3 straight years, and there's some surreal views there. And you go down by the water, and there's Jim Nantz, and the great Jim Nantz broadcaster, one of my favorite broadcasters of all time. And he's like, hey, come down to the house, because Jim lives on the 7th hole at Pebble Beach. Nobody's got it better than Jim Nantz. Google it, look it up. Jim's house is like, it's like a movie set. You think like, oh my God, he's got the best house in America.
I want to pull it up. I want to see
There's bigger houses. There's not better views.
Yeah. 7th hole.
Don't show Jim Nantz's house on TV, just so no one goes over there. But you guys.
Oh no, it won't. It's not on. It's just we're just gonna see it.
But it's
house in Westport.
Yeah,
he used to live in Westport.
He used to.
Yeah. Oh really?
He lives full time in Pebble Beach on the course, and That's pretty surreal to live on.
Wow,
Pebble
it's
Beach.
beautiful. Yeah.
Yeah, that's his view.
Wow.
And so he in Jim
Oh,
Nance's
yeah, I see the house right
backyard.
there.
You could probably see us if you look up Dan Patrick Show, Jim Nance house. There's a picture of Dan Patrick right there. Jim Nance had contractors build the par 3 or whatever the par 3 is, like the 12th hole at Pebble Beach. He had them remake it in his backyard. It's like 40 yards long. He's got a tee box. He's got sounds. Jim Nance invites us over to his house. This is as surreal as it gets. I used to work with Jim back in the CBS days, so I knew him a little bit. And he invites us to his house for breakfast after our show's over. We're sitting out in the backyard eating, breakfast tacos at Jim Nance's house.
Wow.
And then he goes, "Let's go to the backyard." And he remade the par 3 at Pebble Beach in his backyard. He's got golf clubs and little like the plastic golf balls so you don't break stuff. And all of a sudden he pulls his phone out. He's got the Sonos and he starts playing the Augusta Masters music. With the birds chirping. And he goes, "Welcome to my backyard. This is Jim Nance." And you're like, where's the cameras? We got to be filming. This is the greatest thing to ever happen to us. And
that's crazy.
We had a par 3 contest with Jim Nance in his backyard at Pebble Beach. And I remember McLovin, probably the second worst golfer in the group, beat Jim Nance. And Jim goes, "I'm never going to recover from this." But Jim was so nice to us. He bought us breakfast made, and we hung out in his backyard. And there's a rock where if you hit a hole in one in Jim Nance's backyard, you're emblazoned on the rock. And the name's like Nick Faldo. Like there's famous people.
Yeah.
And then McLovin didn't hit it in the hole, but he goes, if you hit it in the hole and I got to put Andrew Perloff next to Nick Faldo, Jim Nance like, "I can't do that. I can't disgrace this rock." But that's one of those moments where you're like, "Oh my God.
Yeah.
What are we doing in Jim Nance's backyard?" And
yeah,
it's all thanks to Dan Patrick and his career that he built. And we jumped on midway through, and it's been great ever since. But I think one of the things you learn about these people in this industry is sometimes the more famous the guy or person, man or woman, the better the person. And I really have a theory that, Jim Nance didn't get to where he is by being a jerk. I've met Bob Costas. I'm not his best friend or anything, but he's a real nice guy. He's real serious about his job, but he's a very nice person. And just about all of them are. Usually the guys who are jerks, men and women who are jerks in this industry, are the mid-level people who think they're Jim Nance and they're not. They think they're Bob Costas and they're not. And the people I've worked with, like Reese Davis at ESPN, he's not the most famous guy on earth. He's one of the best people. And every time I see him sign a new contract at ESPN, I'm like, "Good for you, man.
Yeah,
you were nice to all of us." When I used to work at ESPN, we were pretty low on the whole food chain. We were, there's a bunch of mid-level producers like I was when I started there. And Reese Davis was like, "Hey, how you doing? What's your name?" He could have easily walked right past my desk.
Guys, yeah.
Reese Davis goes, "Hey, you're new here?" Because he knows he rocks the radio department. I go, "Yeah, Reese." I go, "I'm Paul Peps." He goes, "Reese Davis." I'm like, "I know who the hell you are. You're a great sports center anchor. Now he does College Game Day." Guys like that deserve it because they were nice to us. And even like a Chris Berman. He didn't come around a lot when I was at ESPN. But he heard my last name. He goes, "Your last name's Pabst?" He goes, "That's fantastic." And he walks up. He goes, "What's your backstory?" And I told him, and we had like a 2-minute conversation. Chris Berman could have easily walked past and not said hi or introduced yourself. So cool stuff like that.
That's sick. I mean, you have a great name. If people don't know, it's the beer,
Pabst
Blue
Blue
Ribbon.
And there is a relation, right?
Yeah, my family is technically related to the Pabst family. From what I read, when I was told as a kid, that a lot of them moved from Germany to Chicago, and then a couple of the brothers went to Milwaukee to start the brewery because they were giving out like free property or free old buildings, but you had to sign a contract that you'd start. This is what I remember reading. And all I get out of it, every couple of years, I get a box full of shirts and hats. And that's pretty cool, especially when you're like 22. And you're living with a bunch of dorky guys in the north side of Chicago. You're like, "A box of Pabst Blue Ribbon shirts. You're my hero." And I was like, "I wish I could get more free beer."
Yeah, that'd be cool.
That would be really nice.
That'd be nice if you got like a case every 6 months.
Yeah, if you were Pabst Blue Ribbon and you're listening right now, if you wanted to
can't believe
send the guys to me or maybe the guys at Downtime.
And Dan Patrick Show.
Yeah,
Like,
I'm a big fan of PBR.
He loves them.
One of my favorite beers.
Who wouldn't?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There you go.
They're
I
great.
wanted to ask you,
Yeah.
what was the hardest part of getting to where you are now?
Oh man, that's such a big question.
I know, but just
Like,
like
I-
hearing like all these like awesome stories, it's so awesome. And to me, I'm like, "Oh my God, this is so great." But, like, of course, there's a way of getting there.
Yeah.
Everyone has a different one.
In my class, I think one of the first things and last things I tell the students is more so about like work ethic and planning out a career than, someone else could teach you how to edit. I can't teach you how to edit. That's someone else's job. I would say go into your career and don't have a backup plan. Think I'm going to work in the sports media or whatever area of media for the rest of my life. That is non-negotiable. I think if you start flirting with backup plans,
Mhm.
now that doesn't mean you can't have a backup job so you
Mhm.
can make rent, like a bartender or a waitress or a waiter or anything. Show up early, stay late, stay off your phone. Don't call in sick ever. Don't ever call in sick. Let your boss send you home if you're sick. I remember I probably beat you, Anthony. How many times did I beat you guys to death with that line?
Every day.
Every day.
If you are lucky enough
Every
to get
day.
into sports media, get in the building and try to stay in the building.
Yeah.
Don't give them an excuse to move on from you
Yeah.
or let you go.
I know. Especially in that industry, like, you know,
They will
those
move on
ESP
from you.
Oh, quick.
You earn your reputation really early in your career. So let's say you were starting today at NBC Sports, and you're supposed to be there at 8. If you're there at 8, you're late.
Yeah.
Don't walk in at 8 when your work starts at 8. That's what posers do.
Mhm.
You should be at your desk by 7:45, reading in, seeing what the sports stories are for the day, and your boss will be there, probably earlier than you. Show up early, stay late, stay off your goddamn phone, for God's sakes.
Mhm.
People playing. What are you doing? What are you checking for? Is it work related? Don't call in sick. If your boss asks you, especially when you're new in this industry, hey, you've been there for 4 weeks, and let's say there's a hockey game at NBC, and they need a production assistant to help out. Hey, can you stay late tonight? Yes. The answer is yes. One word. Sure. Great. Be excited when your boss asks you to stay late. Be happy that they're asking you. You're not like loading trucks on a dock. You're covering a hockey game for NBC SN. When I started at CBS News or CBS Sports in New York City, I was nobody. I was the weekend stat guy. They paid us almost nothing. And then people started asking me, hey, can you work Tuesday? Can you work Wednesday? Can you work Saturday? Can you work Saturday night? When you're 25 years old in New York City and someone goes, do you want to work Saturday night? You know what the answer is? No, I want to go out and kick it. But, no is not an option when you're 22, 23, 24, 25 in this industry. And what happens is you start making yourself really reliable to your bosses. I can count on this person to stay late. I can count on them to show up early. I can count on them to show up when they're supposed to be on vacation. And you start doing that, and then you start moving up the food chain faster than others who call in sick or take longer vacations or ask for a day off to go to a bachelor party or something like that. Look, maybe those days are not going to be as fun as some other people's, but maybe when you're 30, you're in charge. Now you can do your vacations and make your own schedule and hire people. So think of it like I'm planning out a 40-year career here. I'm not just getting a job at CBS Sports or Sports Illustrated. You got to have a strategy. Also, learn the job of the person above you on the food chain. So let's say you're brand new and you're working in graphics for NBC Sports, and your boss is the head of graphics. Hey, can I shadow you and see what you're doing on the soccer coverage? Sure. Can I do this? Can I do that? Don't be a pest, but look for opportunities too. Because all of a sudden your boss, who's 28, who heads up the graphics people, takes a job over at ESPN, and they need a new graphics person. And you walk up to the supervising producer or whatever and say, hey, I know that Chris left, but I shadowed him for a month, seeing what he did, just in case something like this happened. I'm ready to go. Really? They don't want to look outside the building to hire people. They want to hire people they know from right down the hall. That's the dirty secret. You see those job openings, they don't want to interview 30 people. They want to bring you in and just plug you in and make their life easier. To me, that's the strategy. And that's how you get to wherever you get to. And don't burn bridges. It's a small industry. If you leave a job, try to leave it on good terms. If you leave a job, don't stay out of contact with the people you used to work with just because let's say you worked at NBC Sports for 5 years. And all of a sudden you get a better job at ESPN. Keep in touch with your old people at NBC. Send them a Christmas card. Invite them to happy hour if you're in the neighborhood. Catch up once in a while. Because what happens if there's cutbacks at ESPN, which there are every 7-8 years. There are. It's automatic like the cicadas. And you're out of work. And you call your old boss at NBC, say, hey, I'm out of work. Is there a spot for me? Absolutely got a spot for you. Because I saw you when we went skiing that one time. Or I saw you when we went to happy hour last month. I'd love to bring you back because I love working with you. That's how you never are missing a paycheck in the sports media industry. So that's basically my class in a nutshell.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it really is. But with more, stuff.
There's more stuff.
My favorite part of the class actually was the creating the show idea and pitching it.
Yeah, that was fun.
That was a cool experience. Like, especially because here you were being like, you'd be like a jerk type of dude. You'd be on your phone.
I would play the role of the
exactly.
jerk executive.
Yeah, exactly. It was great.
Well, if you look at a show like PTI's been on air for 2 decades, probably one of the most successful sports television shows of all time. It's Tony Kornheiser and Michael Wilbon sitting in chairs discussing sports.
Mm-hmm.
It's not that complicated.
No.
But some producer, Eric Rydholm, said, how do these two not? They used to talk all the time. Tony Kornheiser and Michael Wilbon. They worked together, columnists at the Washington Post. Wilbon used to go on Tony Kornheiser's radio show all the time. And this producer, Eric Rydholm, and some other people said, how do we not have a show with these two guys?
Mm-hmm.
It's so simple. How do they not slap these two guys on the air? They're smart. They're funny. They're snarky. PTI.
Yeah.
Some guy just saw that this is so obvious. Sometimes good shows are obvious.
Yeah.
Like, look at Hard Knocks. We're going to film training camp, but we're going to show you the players getting cut. So we're going to broadcast someone losing their dream on national television. Rarely do you see that in life. And that's why Hard Knocks worked. That one little morsel. Hard Knocks is cool. You got people, JJ Watt pushing the sled, and the slow motion shots in the quarterback room. That's cool. The reason Hard Knocks works is that one element of they showed the coach cutting the player. And you know what they always used to do on Hard Knocks when it started? There'd be some defensive back out of Tennessee Tech who was a 7th round draft pick. And is he going to make the team or not? And they'd focus on him, but they wouldn't focus on Deion Sanders. They'd focus on the backup guy. Why are they focusing on the backup linebacker or the backup running back? Because his life is going to be pulled out from under him, or vice versa. The Tennessee Tech defensive back will be like, hey, we just want to have you in. You worked really hard. He thinks I'm about to be cut. We think he's about to be cut. You made the roster. You just saw someone's dream come true on national TV. That doesn't happen on TV. That's Hard Knocks.
Yeah.
Stuff like that is cool.
It is. That's a great show.
Good show.
It is.
All right, Anthony, let's wrap it up. Me and you. What do you got? Last thing.
Yeah.
Last thing.
I'm giving you a little final word.
Oh, wow.
It could be anything.
Could be anything, huh?
That's my cue that I got to go home and pick up my kids.
Right. Well, one question I did have was what was your greatest moment as a teacher?
Oh, that's easy. Anytime you guys get jobs.
Oh.
That's easy, but I'll give a specific. It happened 2 days ago. One of my graduate students at Sacred Heart told me she has to miss my class because she's being flown down to a job interview in her hometown for this really good job that she wants. And she goes, I go, do you think, she said, I go, it's a good sign if they're flying you down, if they're paying for you to fly. So I don't know if she got the job or not, but I remember a couple of years ago, maybe 4 years ago, this student of mine, she got a job at Sports Illustrated, and she got offered the job Wednesday of finals week. And of course she accepted. And her mom and dad come to graduation, and she tells me about it, but she didn't tell her mom and dad yet.
Oh.
And I go, you didn't tell your mom and dad yet? She goes, no, I'm going to surprise them at graduation. I was like, oh man, that's a hammer. That's an awesome move. And so they're at graduation. You guys went to the Sacred Heart graduation. There's,
it's intimate.
It's hot. Yeah. There's, 30, 40 kids.
Yeah.
It's not a big monstrous.
No.
And the parents are there and they're all excited, and dad's there in his plaid shirt, his khaki pants with pleats. And he just paid $100,000 to send his daughter to college. And like most dads did, most parents did. And she gives me like the head nod, and I kind of just stand about 20 feet away with my arms folded. And she goes, Dad, Mom, he goes, so here's the thing. I got offered a job last week at Sports Illustrated, and I took it.
Yeah.
Dad's like,
it was worth it.
I'm getting choked up right now, but Dad's like, that's it. My daughter just got her dream.
Yeah.
I paid all this money for college. I supported all her things that she wanted to do.
Yeah.
She's going to work at Sports Illustrated.
I know.
I mean, when I was a kid, I would have cut my finger off at to work at almost literally.
Yeah.
To work at Sports Illustrated. I still have hundreds of saved Sports Illustrated. That's a legendary sports
Company.
media brand in America.
Yeah.
And for a dad who's like 58 years old who grew up on Sports Illustrated,
Yeah.
the daughter says at graduation, I'm starting there Monday morning.
Yeah.
I mean, this guy.
I know.
You should have saw his face. You would have thought he won the lottery.
Yeah. Well, he
And-
technically did. Yeah.
And I've seen a handful of these happen. There's a kid. You guys remember Tamarick Wilson? Tamarick Wilson?
T.
Yeah, T.
Yeah.
Tamarick Wilson. He was one of our favorite students at Sacred Heart. And I remember his mom passed away. And his mom wanted him to be, what he wanted to be. And he gave the speech at graduation. And then he got a job working at NBC Sports. He's had a very good career. And you see these kids when you see them getting there, that's pretty cool. Because, when I was 22, I was a bartender. I had nothing going on. And I was trying to get in the sports media world. The doors were closed. And if I would have got a job at Sports Illustrated at 22 years old, I would have done a backflip, or working for ESPN. So
Yeah.
it's, it's just the coolest.
Last question, and we'll wrap it up. We always ask it. I ask two, but I'll ask one.
Oh, okay.
What's some advice you'd give to a young you out there?
Oh, man, like a 20-year-old me. I'm a huge hockey fan. I'm working on the soccer coverage. Is there any chance you could help me morph over to the hockey
Yeah.
side? Oh, yeah, sure. Sometimes people don't know what you want.
Right.
They can't read your mind, your bosses and people above you in the sports media. And you may say to them, hey, I don't really want to work soccer anymore. I love working at NBC, but I really want to work on the hockey coverage. I had no idea. Just speak up.
Closed mouths don't get fed.
Yeah, they don't.
Right?
They don't. Speak
Well,
up for
guys,
yourself.
I hope you enjoyed this episode, Paulie.
Hey,
Thank
and
you
you know
so
what? I
much.
can't wait for you
Seriously.
guys to come by the studio sometime down the road.
Yeah, I'll call you tomorrow.
Just keep your phone on.
Yeah.
Yeah. If it's a private number, just pick it up.
Appreciate
Okay,
it. We
will
appreciate you guys. And everybody, watch the Dan Patrick Show and stay tuned.
Downtime for life.
Yes.
Hey guys, Tony here from Downtime TV checking in. I want to thank all our fans out there who's been liking, subscribing, sharing our content. You guys are the best. You guys are our bloodline. You make us love what we do. Thanks again.
Dana Buckmere here is with us today, folks. She's an author who we met last week and at her new book reading at Eco Evolution.
Well, I've always been a writer. I'm I guess, but I never published anything until 2018. That's when I published my first book.
Which was called what again?
Plenty of Laughs. It's based on my experience dating in South Florida with the app Plenty of Fish. When I wrote the second book, it's totally different. More dramatic and serious topics. It begins that this seemingly charming guy comes into the picture and he seems charming and funny and intelligent, and then the relationship quickly takes a turn for the worse.
What episode is this?
Suhiko was 51.
Yes.
Bill Ottman 52. Craig 53. Dana 54.
Dana Buckmere here is with us today, folks. She's an author who we met last week and at her new book reading at Eco Evolution. Food sponsors, shout out Mounier, Drink American Mule, Great Time. Really, who else? Cakebox too. Shout out Cakebox. I don't remember if I had one of those. I think I might have. I
don't think so.
They were little, so it was like I need them. You did? Renee did. Yeah, they're yummy, she says. But Dana, thanks for coming in.
For having me.
No problem. Yeah, bring the microphone closer. Yeah, there you go. And so
You're gonna lower it just a tad too,
Yeah.
as well.
Okay.
So
like right at your chin. Yeah. There we go.
So, Dana, tell us where you're from. Where are you born and raised?
I was born in Connecticut.
Oh, cool.
In Bridgeport,
Nice.
but I went to high school in
Madison, Connecticut.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Up the shoreline and back to New Haven for college.
Where at?
Southern
Okay, cool.
Cool.
in UNH. And 2010, I moved to South Florida, Fort Lauderdale.
Why?
I think I was having like an early midlife crisis. I just wanted to get out of Connecticut, and I was like sick of the weather, and I was working 2 jobs and going to school on my second master's, and I just felt like, I was teaching at a high school in New Haven. I just felt like people work like all their lives and don't get to enjoy them. And like they retire in Florida. I wanted to enjoy Florida when I was younger. So I just packed up everything that would fit in my truck and drove down without like knowing anybody or having a job or anything.
And what'd you do when you got there?
I loved it.
Tell
It
me.
was like a 6-year vacation.
Yeah.
I went to the beach all the time. I was teaching at a language school because my second master's is teaching English to speakers of other languages. So I taught adults English, and it was really fun, but they don't pay you. They say they pay you in sunshine.
Oh, got it.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
it was interesting, but I started doing food reviews down there. So that was fun because I got to like go to restaurants and hotels and things like that that I know like wouldn't necessarily be able to afford on a teacher salary.
Right.
awesome.
Paid in sunshine.
Yeah, right.
But when my dad died in 2015, he left me the house in Fairfield, so I moved back up.
I'm sorry about that.
Thank you.
Was it just like all out of nowhere?
It was suicide.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, he had a long battle with mental illness and substance abuse.
Mm.
But
So then you moved up to Fairfield.
and I've been here ever since.
Wow. How old were you?
When I moved here,
Yeah. Back up. You said like what was it, quarter life crisis at first?
well, that's when I moved down to Florida.
Yeah.
I was like 28.
Okay.
Yeah, I moved back up
Yeah,
here.
that's like I could totally. I'm 30, so
Yeah.
you know.
Michael's having one right now.
No. I would if I wasn't doing this. Honestly, I would definitely for sure, 100%.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's really hard to teach at an inner city school.
Yeah.
And I did it for 7 years, and it was like very violent, chaotic environment. And
Oh.
so I just kind of wanted to just leave it all behind and just live the beach life. And it was awesome because, people save up like for years to go on vacation in Fort Lauderdale. And,
Yeah.
I
It's a
was
beautiful
able to live that
area.
every day.
Yeah.
So I'm glad I had the opportunity. But like I said, you really can't make any money down there. Like all the people that live there are not teachers. They probably made the money somewhere else and then came to South Florida. It's really hard to make a good living.
Right. Yeah, and plus minimum wage is lower, everything's
Yeah.
just cheaper there, so you make less there, you
Yeah.
know. What'd you do when you got back up here? How'd you get into writing?
Well, I've always been a writer. I'm like, I guess, but I never published anything until 2018. That's when I published my first book,
Which was called what again?
Plenty of Laughs.
Plenty of Laughs.
Yeah,
I
one
like
woman's
that.
journey navigating the online dating waters.
Wow.
Oh, cool.
So it's based on my experience dating in South Florida with the app Plenty of Fish.
Oh.
Yeah, and
That was really like early on in
Yeah.
the dating app world.
yeah, it was published in 2018, but I mean, I started writing it in like 2012. I didn't really know where I was going with it. Like, it was just a lot of the conversations I had and the guys I met were so outrageous that my girlfriend and I were like, why don't you just write it down? And then I just had a whole series of conversations and I had to build the story around that.
Wow.
But it just so happened that when I was really young, like maybe 19, I had this boyfriend that my mother didn't approve of. And she was constantly trying to find a guy for me that she did approve of. So she went on a dating app at the time where like probably dating apps like just came out. They're probably a website.
It was like, yeah, whatever it was, whatever that, I forgot what it was called.
eHarmony.
eHarmony, like something like that.
Even something like
Yeah.
pre-eHarmony, like really old school. I mean, just I remember she had one of those desktop computers that was like really, really big. And she posed as me and started
Oh my
talking to
goodness.
guys, trying to find a date for me.
Wow.
But she like, I don't think she was ever going to tell me.
Right.
Like the only reason I found out is because I walked behind her while she was on the computer and I saw
Oh
pictures
my
of
goodness.
me and like,
Wow.
yeah, I called her out. I think she just enjoyed pretending.
Your mom's like the original catfish.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for real.
Yeah, I saw that. I forgot where I saw that. Like it's either like a docuseries or something like that.
There's a show called Catfish on MTV.
No, it was something
No?
else though.
Oh.
It was
There was a
something more
movie.
serious. Yeah, it was
there was a
something.
movie with Mandy Moore where her mom did that same thing, like posed as
Oh.
her to try to find a date for her. But
That's crazy.
so that's how I started the book. So it was perfect that
That's
she
how
did
you
it.
started the book.
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
And then I do like 10 years later when I start going on to find somebody. So the first book was really like lighthearted and fun, and people could relate to it because now, online dating is so prevalent and everybody has their crazy online dating story that they want to share. So when I wrote the second book, it's totally different, more dramatic and serious topics.
Did you mind telling people what it's about?
So it's about a guy that, well, it begins that I moved back to Connecticut, grieving the loss of my father, and I swear off online dating. But then this seemingly charming guy connects with me on Facebook, which I think like social media is safer because it's not per se a dating app. And you don't get the snapshot that you get on a dating app and on Facebook. I feel like you get the history and the connections and everything. It's
people,
safer.
they're like, the timeline or whatever.
Right. You get to go back and
It's
look
like
at their
they've been on since '08 or whatever it is. They give,
But so he started connecting with me and like interacting with my posts, and everything
His name's
started out
Eric, right?
great. Eric.
Okay, yeah,
Eric
I read,
Becker.
yeah, I read the
Yeah.
back. I know what it's about, but the
Yeah.
people don't. I just read the back.
So we started.
She knows I haven't read it. We talked about this off air. All right, everybody. I'm not a jerk. I'm reading 2 other books.
He just got it on Thursday.
Yes, it's on my. It's third on my list. It's like 1 is almost done, then 2, and now then this one. So
Gotcha.
continue, Eric.
Yeah. So Eric Becker comes into the picture, and he seems charming and funny and intelligent, and then the relationship quickly takes a turn for the worse.
When?
He shows his true colors. Well, it was a very fast relationship. It was only 3 months, but a lot transpired in that time. So I would say, like, I started researching narcissist abuse and things like that, like the cycle of abuse. And generally, people can't keep the mask on for more than like 30 days. So I started noticing like red flags and like the mask slipping little by little. But it's such a gradual thing that maybe you don't pay attention to it in the moment, but looking back, it's so obvious.
Yeah. What were like some of those first signs? You know what I mean?
Well, there's one thing that they usually a narcissist does, which is
And
called,
what made you want to like? What made you think that? Like, you know what I mean?
well, he was doing something called love bombing,
And what's that?
which is where like the person is completely 100% like enamored with you, and they're like, "Oh my God, you're so beautiful. You're so special," and they give you gifts and like just a barrage of compliments.
In like the first 2 weeks or whatever, 3
Yeah,
weeks.
yeah, and you feel like you met your soulmate.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's like this intense connection.
Yeah, and it's like all beginning relationships feel like that too.
Like the honeymoon
So
phase.
he's like adding like more to it, which feels even more crazy.
Yeah, and it's like perfect behavior, and it's like, why didn't I meet you earlier in
Yeah,
life? You're so amazing. We're gonna get married. They feed you like a fairy tale, story, and basically it's an illusion. They're very good. It's predatory. They're good at reading the room and observing. Possibly, I would say even he went deep on my social media.
prior.
Yeah, prior to meeting
And
me
like,
to get
what's
an
that show that
idea.
came out where it's like everybody's like obsessed with it? But he's a bad person.
Like the
And
Tinder swindler?
No. It's an actual acting show. You?
Oh yeah,
That's what it
based on
reminds
a
me
book.
of. That's what it reminds me of.
Yeah.
That's what this guy sounds like. He basically, Tony, he like pretends, which is basically what he's saying.
Right.
What she's saying, and it's like you see, like I just remember seeing one scene where, like, let's say it's the victim, and she's home with her friends, and he's like
Out the window.
out the window,
Right.
and it's a
Mhm.
flashback though
Yeah.
of him before. You know what I mean? Because
Yeah.
it's not social media tied. It's
Yeah, it's scary. And he
That
had a
is.
background in IT. So I mean, he knew how to like dive deep into
Right.
things, and and I started realizing because he would be like, he would make comments like, "Oh, I saw this and on your post, and it was years ago." So he definitely studied me, and they do that so that they can use it against you, and or try to,
like psychological battles or whatever.
yeah, or they try to disarm you, like so that you're more vulnerable to
Right.
what their agenda is. And then they form a bond with you, like a strong, emotional bond, and they generally get some kind of like secrets on you, make you divulge something
Oh,
that
okay,
makes
like
you
yeah,
vulnerable,
yeah,
and then they can put it in their arsenal and use it against you later.
right.
And then just little by little, they start chipping away. Maybe they isolate you from your
Mhm.
friends or family,
Right.
or they'll start criticizing you, but saying that they love it. Like, oh, he would say that I had a lazy eye. And he would say, "It's so endearing and I love it. It makes you so unique and beautiful." So then I start like questioning, like, "Oh, what's wrong with my eye?" You know? So they do that,
Yeah.
you know? And then it just got to a point where it was like emotionally and a few times physically abusive. And it just happened so fast
Mm-hmm.
that I kind of felt like I lost myself.
And this was all in a 3-month span.
Hmm.
Wow.
I know, pretty intense.
So what was like, I don't know. What point was it like, all right, I need to figure out a way to get out of this?
Well, I kind of felt like he moved his stuff into my house really quick. Like he was like always over, and then I just felt like almost like I was a prisoner in my own house. Like I couldn't get away from him. Early on, I was warned by this ex-girlfriend of his, and in all my dating experience, I'd never had anybody contact me, an ex, to warn me. But she wasn't very credible. And what's funny is that Eric warned me about her prior. He said that she was crazy and she had an addiction and she was obsessed with him and she was trying to sabotage his happiness and his relationship.
Well, I'm sure because he sabotaged hers probably at some point. So
Right.
she's
Right.
like gung ho on.
Yeah, but he
You
he
know?
told me before, so when she did reach out,
You
I
were
was
like,
less likely to
already-
believe
Yeah,
her.
of course.
And why would I believe her over him? But she warned me and she told me that he abused her. But then at the same time, she was texting him wanting to get back together with him.
Oh.
So that was like, okay,
Tell
I'm
me.
not going to believe you.
I know that's tough. What the hell?
Yeah, so that was that. And then what set him off at the end was an email that I got from another ex who wanted to remain anonymous because she was so afraid of, him being vengeful and coming after her. And she had like a laundry list of like offenses. He had a criminal record that I didn't know about.
Mhm.
And she just said that he was a pathological liar and that has a history of violence against women. It was pretty crazy. And I brought the email to his
That's what I was gonna
attention.
say, yeah.
And that's when he spiraled out of control.
What happened? Yeah.
Well, he had been physically violent with me before, but he obviously had an excuse for it. It was like, oh, the alcohol I was drinking didn't mix well with my medication. And I had never had a man ever put hands on me before. So, like, I wanted to have a reason for it and understand it and, like, almost believe like it didn't happen.
Mhm.
So he just apologized, like, profusely and was like, it would never happen again. That's not me. That's not me. And so I took him back. But then that night that I confronted him about the email, he just got so like rageful. And I felt like he looked at me at one point and said, "This isn't going to end well for you, Dana." And there was something in his eyes that told me that I needed to get the hell out of that house or else, I might not get out.
Mhm.
So I took my dog and I just ran out of the house. Like I didn't take anything else. And I called 911. And he ended up having like a 4-hour standoff with the Fairfield police and SWAT team. Like he wouldn't leave the house. He threatened to kill himself in the house. He threatened to burn down the house. They had to turn the gas off. I mean, just like a lunatic, a complete lunatic. He broke every window in the house and destroyed like over $50,000 worth of damage. I had to end up living in a hotel for 5 months while they repaired it because it was uninhabitable.
And when was this?
This was December of last year.
Oh wow.
Wow.
Yeah. And so during the time that I was living in the hotel, I started writing the book just because I needed to make sense of what happened. And like I said at the author reading, like when somebody, I think you asked, why did I decide to go public with the story? And I just felt compelled because I had to take something that was so negative and make it positive and create something out of what he destroyed. So that's what came out of it. And it was really definitely healing for me to process everything that I was going through and like the things that I couldn't say to him, I could say on paper and work through it.
And so, what happened after like the cops came and did he have, obviously is he paying for the did he pay for the damages?
Yeah.
How did that all work out?
Well, he had to go to the hospital because he threatened to kill himself. So that's protocol.
Mhm.
And he did that on purpose.
Of course.
Narcissists won't ever kill themselves. They love themselves too much to
Right.
kill themselves.
Right.
But and I guess they didn't have the facility for him. The detective called me and said that they were going down to arrest him like maybe a week later after they were like assessing him because he was just so violent at the hospital. And he was just like destroying the hospital and he sexually assaulted the nurses. I mean, he's just like a legitimate menace to society and terror to women. So they arrested him at that point and he has been in Bridgeport Correctional Center since.
That time. No, has there been like a sentence or anything?